Chapter 1190. Is there something wrong with this place? Sun Yi asked as she looked at Lin Feng. Even though Sun Yi felt that Lin Feng was a hooligan, she didn't deny that Lin Feng was powerful. Now that she saw Lin Feng looking around and frowning from time to time, she felt that this place wasn't as simple as it seemed. She had the feeling that there was something special about that place, which was why Lin Feng was paying attention. Said Lin Feng, "This place gives me a strange feeling. If I'm not mistaken, Shunhyamo Cave has the Heaven and Earth Cave. It should be here." Sun Yi looked towards the depths of the cave and saw black fog churning there. She asked, "Could it be in the depths?" "I don't know, but I'm going to take a look. Wait for me outside. I'll go in and take a look," Lin Feng said. Sun Yi said, "I'll go in with you. With your strength, if there's any danger, I'll have to protect you." "You should stay outside," Lin Feng said. Sun Yi was so angry that her face turned ashen. She hated it when people said that she was weak. In her family, whenever she wanted to go out and travel, the elders would say that her cultivation was too low and that it was too dangerous to go out. She should cultivate for a few more years and go out when she was strong enough. When Sun Yi heard Lin Feng say such things again, she wanted to punch him in the face. She wanted to punch him so hard that he would fall to the ground. However, when she thought about how she wasn't a match for this hooligan, Sun Yi endured it. She didn't want her but to be attacked by Lin Feng again. Sun Yi said indignantly, "Don't look down on me. If you don't take me in, I'll go in by myself and see who finds the universe cave first." Sun Yi was someone who kept her word. Lin Feng said helplessly, "It's not impossible if you want to go in, but when the time comes, follow closely behind me and don't run around. This place is very dangerous, and if you take a wrong step, you might be doomed eternally." Sun Yi nodded and said, "I know, you're so long-winded. You're even more annoying than those old antiques in my family." Lin Feng slapped Sun Yi's butt. Sun Yi felt pain and glared fiercely at Lin Feng. She looked as if she wanted to charge over and fight Lin Feng to the death. Lin Feng said, "If you continue to be so impudent to your master, this young master, I don't mind turning you from a young girl to a young woman." As he spoke, Lin Feng looked at Sun Yi's body. Sun Yi felt as if someone was caressing her body, and her face blushed. She hurriedly used her hands to protect her bodies to protect her body. And then she harumphing to Zhao Zhao, she said, Is, before you dig out my eyeballs, you'll have already turned from a young girl to a married woman. At that time, you'll be murdering your own husband. The heavens won't tolerate it." Sunny to Sunday. Sun Yi harumphed and didn't say anything else. However, Lin Feng knew that she was probably cursing him in her heart. Sun Yi was so impetuous and had an extremely fierce personality. Most men wouldn't be able to subdue her. "Follow me. Let's go in and take a look," Lin Feng said as he led the way into the depths of the forest. Sun Yi followed Lin Feng cautiously. They also walked deeper into the palace. After walking for about a kilometer, Sun Yi said, "Look, there's a stone stele on the left." Lin Feng turned around and saw that there was indeed a stone stele about 100 meters away. He said, "Let's go take a look." Lin Feng walked towards the stone stele. After walking for about 10 meters, Lin Feng realized that Sun Yi hadn't said a single word. Lin Feng felt that something was off, as this didn't fit Sun Yi's personality at all. He turned around and found that Sun Yi, who had been following behind him, had disappeared without a trace. Where did she go? Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. This was too strange. It was as if she had disappeared into thin air. If something had happened to Sun Yi, with her cultivation, she should have been able to scream at the very least, right? But now, she hadn't even screamed. Sun Yi had disappeared without a trace, which was why Lin Feng felt that something wasn't quite right. He closed his eyes and started walking through the forest. Swish! Suddenly, Lin Feng felt a special energy wrap around him. In the next moment, there was a flash of light, and Lin Feng also disappeared from the forest. When Lin Feng reappeared, he found himself in front of a huge mountain. This mountain was about 10,000 meters tall, and Lin Feng was now halfway up the mountain. In front of him was a cave. There were 4 words written on the cave. Universe Cave Dwelling, the Heaven and Earth Emperor's Cave? Lin Feng was shocked. He had actually found the Heaven and Earth Emperor's cave. However, Lin Feng didn't know how he had come to this place, so his expression was grave. The Heaven and Earth Emperor's cave is a bit strange. I have to be careful. Lin Feng was on guard. So many people had come to find the Heaven and Earth Emperor's cave, but none of them had returned alive. This was enough to explain a lot of things. Lin Feng carefully walked into the Cosmos Cavern. The chi of the earth and sky in the cave was 100 times more than in the outside world. Lin Feng was astonished. The chi of the earth and sky was extremely rich. If he practiced cultivation in such a place, his cultivation would progress by leaps and bounds. Lin Feng followed the passage and walked into the depths of the cave. Eventually, a mountain appeared in front of him. While Lin Feng was still in the tunnel, he heard a giggle coming from inside the mountain. Women? Lin Feng was astonished. It wasn't just one woman in the mountain. There were several women, but the voices were unfamiliar. Lin Feng didn't recognize any of the women. Lin Feng was extremely puzzled that women had appeared in the Heaven and Earth Emperor's cave. He slowly crept forward. When he arrived at the cave entrance, he looked inside and saw a white jade bed. On the white jade bed, there were 6 women lying on top of it. These 6 women were only wearing transparent gauze that barely covered the important parts of their bodies. They were all beautiful. Some were charming, some were enchanting, some were flirtatious, some were pure, some were shy, and some were delicate and pitiful. The 6 women were all beauties of different styles. Each of them could be described as a peerless beauty. There are 6 such beautiful women in the Heaven and Earth Emperor's cave. How strange. Lin Feng felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't tell what it was. Sweetie, why are you hiding outside? Hurry up and come in. The 6 women's seductive voices came from the mountain. They've discovered me? Lin Feng was startled, but he didn't show himself. Instead, he observed in secret. If he found anything wrong, he would leave immediately. When the 6 women saw that Lin Feng hadn't come out, they came down from the white jade bed and walked towards the outside of the room with their bare feet. The 6 women's voices were extremely seductive. Sweetie, if you don't come out, we'll find you. As soon as they finished speaking, they all giggled. The 6 beauties each had their own merits. The gauze couldn't cover their bodies, and they were extremely seductive. Any man who saw this scene would probably be unable to control himself. Chapter 1191. A fragrant wind blew in his direction, rotting and alluring. The scene in front of him made it difficult for him to leave. The 6 beauties each had their own merits, and all of them were showing their beautiful side. Who could turn a blind eye to them? Even someone who had already severed his desires would be ignited by the flames of desire. Even the eunuchs in the palace would have their eyes lit up. Little brother, we're not tigers, and we won't eat you. You've been avoiding us because you're afraid of us, right? We're all delicate women, and we don't even have the strength to truss a chicken. We only want to have sex with you, little brother. We're faster than gods. They came barefoot, and their voices were charming and alluring. Lin Feng realized that they had really locked onto his position, and he couldn't help but mutter to himself. His concealment technique was marvelous, so how had the 6 women discovered him? From the looks of it now, they were not weak women. In fact, how could a woman who could appear in the Inkuan cavern be a powerless woman? Lin Feng stopped hiding and walked out of his hiding place. He looked at the 6 women and said, demons? Vixens? Or humans? The 6 women giggled. The 6 women laughed, and the charming woman said, little brother, what do you think we are? Lin Feng rubbed his chin and said, it's hard to say. Anything is possible. No matter what race we are, there's one thing we can tell you clearly. We're women. The 6 beauties surrounded Lin Feng. What are you trying to do? Lin Feng looked at the 6 women vigilantly. We don't ask for eternity, but we want to have a beautiful memory with you. We 6 sisters are willing to do anything for you. The charming woman's voice was filled with temptation. Looking at the 6 women up close, Lin Feng realized how beautiful they were. Now, they were throwing themselves at him. Lin Feng felt like there was a voice in his heart that was bewitching him. As long as you're alive, you should enjoy life when it's time to do so. Now that beauty is right in front of you. How can you let her down? Hurry up and enjoy everything in front of you. That voice seemed to have endless magic. Lin Feng had the impression that his willpower was getting weaker and weaker. Slowly, even he himself felt that he should enjoy it now. He cultivated like an ascetic monk. That would be too boring. Life is short. Every moment of the night was worth 1,000 gold. Now that he had such a great opportunity, if he didn't enjoy it, how could he encounter such an opportunity in the future? Little brother, come on. Mount Wu and Rain. The phoenix serves the dragon. That seductive voice sounded. Lin Feng seemed to be sinking into oblivion. His clear gaze towards the 6 beauties was gradually replaced by lust. Lin Feng hugged a beauty with one hand and walked towards the white jade bed. Just as he was about to enjoy these 6 beauties, suddenly, Lin Feng felt that something was wrong. Lin Feng had always admitted that he wasn't very picky when it came to women, and he had done unspeakable things with many of them. But there was one thing. Lin Feng wasn't so lustful that he would want to have sex with every woman he met. Because he had experienced many women, his self-control was relatively strong. For example, a beauty like Madame Qi had hinted at Lin Feng, but hadn't Lin Feng still rejected her? The 6 women in front of him emitted a demonic aura, and the first time they met, they pulled him to do unspeakable things. This was the Universe Cavern, and countless people had come here before. Could it be that those male cultivators had done unspeakable things with these 6 women? It was true that Lin Feng liked women, but he didn't like women who didn't know how to behave. He liked women who were clean. Lin Feng directly pushed the 2 women in his arms to the side. Young master, what are you doing? The 2 women looked at Lin Feng, full of grievance. Lin Feng said, I'm not interested in you. I just want to know something. This is the Universe Emperor's Cavern, right? Before I came in, did a blue-robed woman come in as well? The 6 women were clearly stunned. They hadn't expected Lin Feng to change so quickly. Young master, why do you care about that blue-robed woman? The 6 of us are serving you. Don't tell me that we can't compare to a blue-robed woman? As the 6 women spoke, they gently removed their veils, revealing nothing in front of them. This scene was enough to make one's nose bleed. They all walked towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng's right hand slashed out with sword qi, which swept across the 6 women. He sneered and said, If you come any closer, don't blame me for being ruthless. Young master, you're so cruel. The 6 women were on the verge of tears. Lin Feng was unmoved. His expression was indifferent as he said, I've long felt that something was wrong with you. I don't care if you're demons or not. Since you don't want to cooperate with me, I'll capture you and search your souls to see where my companions and the cultivators trapped in the Universe Cavern are. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng stepped forward and grabbed the women in front of him. Suddenly, the world began to spin. The 6 women disappeared without a trace. Lin Feng discovered that he had appeared in a huge cavern. This cave abode was surrounded by layers of mist-colored gas. The entire cave abode was gloomy and eerie. An illusion? Lin Feng was shocked. Immediately after, he felt cold sweat on his back. The 6 women weren't real. Were they an illusion? However, Lin Feng felt that something was wrong. It was difficult for an illusion to create such a realistic scene. An inner demon? Lin Feng thought of a certain possibility and couldn't help but gasp. If it was an ordinary person, they might really think that it was an illusion. This was because many people couldn't tell the difference between an illusion and an inner demon. However, Lin Feng gradually became certain that it wasn't an illusion but an inner demon for a reason. Lin Feng himself had obtained the inheritance of the Celestial Master Path. What was the Celestial Master Path best at? That was the formation. Illusions were also created by great formations. If Lin Feng hadn't obtained the inheritance of the Celestial Master Path, he might have really thought that it was an illusion. However, he had obtained the inheritance of the Celestial Master Path and had cultivated a lot of it. If an illusion wanted to confuse him, with his ability, it was impossible for him to not notice it. In other words, everything that had just happened was an inner demon. An inner demon was a very terrifying and special existence. It was a demon that was born from the desire in one's heart. Everyone had inner demons, but some people had strong wills, and inner demons couldn't invade their bodies. Lin Feng's will was strong enough, But after entering the universe cavern, his inner demons seemed to be magnified by some kind of power. My inner demons are actually women? Lin Feng could only smile bitterly. Of course, everyone's inner demons were different. Everyone probably had more than one type of inner demon. Women might be one of Lin Feng's inner demons. Lust is like a knife over a knife. Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. However, he didn't think that he did anything wrong. Everyone had a desire for beauty. As a man, Lin Feng, what was wrong with liking women? This was desire. Desire gave birth to inner demons. Lin Feng liked beautiful women, and he had never hidden his thoughts. In the universe cavern, this desire was magnified and gave birth to inner demons. This was why the 6 beautiful women had seduced Lin Feng. If Lin Feng had been immersed in beauty, he would have been controlled by his inner demons and completely lost himself. Fortunately, Lin Feng resolved his inner demons in time. Lin Feng collected his thoughts and began to size up the fog-shrouded cavern. What Lin Feng didn't know was that in another space, a pair of cold eyes were staring at him. Someone actually resisted the inner demon's invasion. This is getting interesting. Kikik, the mysterious existence, let out a sinister laugh. Chapter 1192. This mysterious existence wore a black robe and was shrouded in black mist. His body emitted a gloomy aura. Behind him were huge pillars. The pillars were covered in runes, and each pillar had a cultivator tied to it. Those cultivators were all pale, their blood draining away. Those pillars were called life-seizing pillars. They would continuously absorb the flesh, blood, soul, and life energy of the cultivators tied to them. Then, all of that energy would be absorbed by the black-robed cultivator to extend his life. None of you are decent. You can't even resist a heart devil. You're all trash. The black-robed cultivator looked disdainfully at the 100 cultivators tied to the pillars. Those people trembled, not daring to speak. Anyone who dared to refute the black-robed cultivator would immediately be killed. The black-robed cultivator's methods were extremely cruel. The black-robed cultivator gloomily looked at the image floating in the air. It was the scene in the cave Lin Feng was in. The others could also see it. A few cultivators recognized Lin Feng, but none of them believed that Lin Feng would be able to escape. So what if he could break the heart, devil? The black-robed cultivator's methods were extremely strange. A person's desires are the most uncontrollable. Everyone has desires, and I, the great desire devil king, can make people release their most primal desires. This black-robed cultivator was called the Great Desire Devil King. It was no wonder he could control Lin Feng's heart devil to deal with Lin Feng. The Great Desire Devil King had the power to control desires. As long as one had desires, they would fall into his schemes. The Great Desire Devil King waved his right hand, and a violent fluctuation appeared in the cave Lin Feng was in. Several Dharma treasures floated in the air, attracting Lin Feng's attention. GGG. Take these Dharma treasures and release the desires in your heart. Once you take them, your desires will be uncontrollable. You'll be like everyone else, controlled by me, the Great Desire Devil King, and become my slave. Then, you'll be bound by the life-seizing pillars for all eternity. All of your life energy will be given to me, said the Great Desire Demon King, smiling evilly. He was watching Lin Feng walk towards the treasures in the cave. Don't touch it, a weak voice called out. It was Sikong Jiayue. When he saw Lin Feng walk towards the treasures, his face turned even paler. Lani was the same. She bit her lips, her expression ugly. But they couldn't warn Lin Feng. The others watched with ashen expressions as Lin Feng walked towards the treasures. In their opinion, Lin Feng would soon become one of them. These treasures are all high-grade Dao treasures. I've only just entered and I've already obtained several high-grade Dao treasures? Lin Feng muttered. As expected of the Heaven and Earth Emperor's cave, there were definitely many treasures here. He walked towards the high-grade Dao artifacts. Lin Feng was just about to take the treasures when Lin Feng's heart shook. He had nearly lost himself to his inner demons. The high-grade Dao treasures in front of him were truly worthy of being called inner demons. Desire was the source of inner demons. Women, wealth, power, Dharma treasures, and so on. All of these could cause a person to feel desire. After Lin Feng had entered the Heaven and Earth Cave, the first inner demon that had appeared was the 6 beauties seducing him. That was because Lin Feng had enough treasures, wealth, and so on. Thus, he didn't have much desire for them. On the other hand, Lin Feng liked beautiful women and had a greater desire for them. Thus, Great Lust Demon King naturally used Lin Feng's strongest desire to create an inner demon. However, Great Lust Demon King had failed. Of course, Lin Feng didn't know that an expert like Great Lust Demon King had secretly made a move against him. He was now worried that after he collected these magic treasures, some unknown changes might occur. This Inkuan cavern was really too strange. F***CK. Who put these pieces of scrap metal here? What a disgrace. Lin Feng kicked the treasures away. Great Lust Demon King's expression sank. He waved his right hand again, and several more treasures appeared in front of Lin Feng. Huh, a peak Dao treasure? Lin Feng was flabbergasted. He had just kicked away a few high-grade Dao treasures, but now, several more peak Dao treasures had appeared. Lin Feng felt that something was wrong. He felt as if someone was watching him, which made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. It seemed that this Heaven and Earth Cave was much more frightening than he had imagined. A few more pieces of junk. Who is so unethical to casually put trash like this here? Lin Feng kicked away several more peak Dao treasures. Great Lust Demon King's expression sank. He waved his right hand, and several demigod treasures appeared in the cave. More trash has appeared, said Lin Feng. Lin Feng muttered. He didn't even look as he turned and walked inside. Brat, I don't believe that you won't be tempted. Great Lust Demon King's face turned ashen. In his long life, he had never seen someone like Lin Feng. Lin Feng walked deeper into the cave, becoming more and more cautious. This place was very strange, far stranger than he had imagined. Swish! There was a flash of light. 3 Dao treasures appeared before him. A huge bow, a small bell, and a suit of armor. Divine treasures? Lin Feng's eyes widened as he reached out to grab the treasures. Nobody could resist the temptation of divine treasures. Kikik, you took the bait, didn't you? Great Lust Demon King laughed sinisterly. No, stop. This place is too strange. Lin Feng took a deep breath. He took out his black dragon sword. With the black dragon sword in hand, he sent a divine artifact flying. He cursed in a low voice. So what if you have a divine artifact? It's not like I don't have one. Many people's mouths twitched violently. This guy didn't even care about divine treasures? This is infuriating. Great Lust Demon King couldn't help but roar furiously. He felt as if he had been toyed with. If you don't care about the treasures, what about the spirit herbs? Great Lust Demon King waved his right hand, and a medicinal garden appeared in Lin Feng's cave. There were dozens of spirit herbs that were over 50,000 years old, and they emitted a dense medicinal fragrance. Why are there so many weeds growing here? Lin Feng muttered. He took out an 80,000-year-old spirit fruit and ate it with a few crunches. Next, he took out a 110,000-year-old spirit fruit and ate it. After eating it, he still didn't feel full. Next, he took out a vermilion bird fruit. This was a top-grade spirit herb. Its effects were far superior to ordinary spirit herbs, and it was the closest thing to an immortal spirit herb. Even Great Lust Demon King's eyes widened when he saw the vermilion bird fruit. Lin Feng rubbed his stomach and muttered, I eat these 70,000-year-old and 100,000-year-old spirit fruits every day. I'm about to throw up. Sigh, if I don't eat, I'll starve. Even if I feel like throwing up, I have to bite the bullet and eat. After pausing for a moment, Lin Feng muttered, after eating too, I'm about to throw up again. I really can't eat anymore. I'll save this one for next time. With that, he put the vermilion bird fruit away. Hearing Lin Feng's sigh, many cultivators' mouths twitched violently. This guy was actually eating 70,000-year-old and 100,000-year-old spirit fruits every day? How many treasures did he have on him? The Great Lust Demon King's heart burned with jealousy. Even he didn't have such extravagance. Comparisons were odious, and comparisons were odious. I'll personally deal with this brat. Great Lust Demon King gnashed his teeth and disappeared without a trace. A moment later, he appeared in Lin Feng's cave. Chapter 1193. A gloomy and cold chi filled the air which made Lin Feng become vigilant. Lin Feng turned around and saw a cultivator in black clothes a dozen meters away. He was looking at Lin Feng coldly. Lin Feng laughed evilly. He turned around and saw a cultivator in black clothes a dozen meters away. He was looking at Lin Feng coldly. When the cultivators saw the Demon King of Great Lust attack, they all shook their heads and sighed. Lin Feng would be doomed if the Demon King of Great Lust attacked. So you're the one scheming against me, you old bastard? Lin Feng didn't hold back when he saw the existence not far away and sensed his ancient aura. What? What did you call me? The Great Lust Demon King was completely stunned. His expression was one of utter astonishment. He thought he had misheard. When the trapped cultivators heard how Lin Feng addressed Great Desire Demon King, they were all dumbfounded. Old bastard, is there something wrong with your ears? Lin Feng muttered. Great Desire Demon King flew into a rage. Someone actually dared to call him an old bastard? No one had ever dared to call him that in tens of thousands of years. Great Desire Demon King said coldly, Brat, do you know that you're courting death? Look at you. You're not much bigger than a formation core. Didn't I just call you an old bastard? Why are you so angry? Lin Feng said seriously. The trapped cultivators smiled bitterly. They didn't expect Lin Feng to be so daring. He even dared to call Great Desire Demon King names, and in such a nasty way. Seeing how furious the Great Desire Demon King was right now, it was easy to tell how angry he was. This guy really isn't afraid of death, many people muttered. Many people even began to admire Lin Feng. Cursing the Great Desire Devil King in the Great Desire Devil King's universe cavern was no different from courting death. Who would dare to provoke the Great Lust Demon King so recklessly? Yet, Lin Feng did it. Great Lust Demon King was so angry that his entire body trembled. He said fiercely, Ignorant brat. You actually dare to insult me after falling into my hands. Don't worry, I won't kill you directly. I'll torture you until you beg for death. Only then will I be able to vent my anger. When he finished talking, an endless amount of black fog emerged and moved towards Lin Feng to envelop him. Wait! Lin Feng suddenly shouted. The Great Lust Demon King stopped attacking and coldly laughed as he looked at Lin Feng and said, Are you afraid now? Since you know, then kneel on the ground and kowtow to me in apology. Beg me to forgive you. Lin Feng pursed his lips and said, You think I'm afraid of you? I just want to say that you're not only an old bastard, but also a shameless old bastard. Great Lust Demon King was furious. He knew that he had been played by Lin Feng again. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he said, Lowly ant brat, I'll make you regret your foolish actions. As soon as he finished speaking, he attacked again. The black fog rolled and enveloped Lin Feng, wanting to swallow him whole. Old bastard, do you think I don't know that you're just a spirit body? What I'm least afraid of is a spirit body. Lin Feng laughed coldly. A spirit body is enough to destroy you 1,000 times over. Great Lust Demon King laughed coldly. Who will destroy who? You'll find out soon enough. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he waved his right hand. The purple earthcore fire and black spirit incinerating fire immediately flew out. They then charged towards Great Lust Demon King. The flames burned fiercely and quickly spread. In the blink of an eye, the entire cave was covered in flames. Chi 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 chi. Intense sounds of burning could be heard. The black fog released by Great Lust Demon King began to burn under the heavenly fire. The black fog contained Great Lust Demon King's soul energy. Now that it was burning, Great Lust Demon King was also injured. Heavenly fire. You actually have heavenly fire, and 2 types of heavenly fire at that. Great Lust Demon King cried out in horror. Everything in the world had a counter to each other. Great Lust Demon King was only a spirit body now. However, his spirit body was strong enough to easily kill Lin Feng. But man proposes, God disposes. Great Lust Demon King never thought that Lin Feng would actually have heavenly fire. Heavenly fire was the most effective type of fire against spirits. If Great Lust Demon King had a physical body, he wouldn't be afraid of heavenly fire. However, he didn't have a physical body, and the heavenly fire was enough to injure him. Lin Feng didn't say anything and continued to use the heavenly fire to attack Great Lust Demon King. Great Lust Barrier. The Great Lust Demon King shouted coldly and raised a defensive barrier to block the heavenly fire. Great Lust Demon King's heavenly fire was strong enough to suppress him. However, it wouldn't be easy to burn the Great Lust Demon King to death in a short period of time. Heavenly Fire. It's the legendary Heavenly Fire, and he has two types of Heavenly Fire. This Lin Feng is too heaven-defying. No wonder he was able to enter the Genius Arena and trample on Morong Tianxin. He's hiding some terrifying techniques. Will we be able to escape? The cultivators who were trapped became somewhat excited. They didn't have any hope of leaving the universe cavern alive, but now they saw a glimmer of hope. Old bastard, you're quite strong. You actually managed to block my heavenly fire with just your spirit body. You're not simple at all, but let's see how long you can last. Lin Feng took out the Regal Sword Tomb. He activated the Regal Sword Control Art, and 3 swords flew out, slashing at Great Lust Demon King. Clang, clang, clang. The swords slashed at Great Lust Demon King's barrier one after another. The defensive light shield also began to shake violently. Great Lust Demon King roared, "A dragon in the shallows will be toyed with by shrimps, and a tiger in the plains will be bullied by dogs. If I still had my physical body, I could kill you 1,000 times over with a flick of my finger. Old bastard, I think your head was kicked by a donkey, right? A real man doesn't boast about his past glory. So what if you were strong in the past? Aren't you still suppressed by me now? If I'm not wrong, your spirit body should be at the level of a god, right? Originally, your soul could easily kill a rebirth realm expert. Even some godly realm experts could be killed by you if they weren't careful. But you just had to meet me. Today, I'll kill you, old bastard. Then, the universe cavern will be mine." Lin Feng laughed and continued to use the 2 heavenly fires and the 3 swords to attack Great Lust Demon King. Crack, crack. Under Lin Feng's ferocious attacks, Great Lust Demon King's barrier began to crack. Great Lust Demon King's expression turned gloomy, and he said, "Brat, how about we negotiate?" "In your dreams." Lin Feng sneered and continued to increase the intensity of his attacks. The 3 swords slashed at the cracked barrier once more. Crack. The barrier shattered completely. The heavenly fire wrapped around Great Lust Demon King, burning fiercely. Ah! Great Lust Demon King let out a miserable shriek. Chapter 1194. The Great Desire Devil King was deeply injured. Heavenly flames were extremely harmful to souls, so it wouldn't be easy for the Great Desire Devil King to escape. When Lin Feng used the heavenly flames to burn the Great Desire Devil King, he was worried that the Great Desire Devil King would escape, so he used the 8 divine seals to seal him. However, Lin Feng's seal was instantly broken by the Great Desire Devil King. "Brat, you're the successor of the Celestial Master Path? You've really shocked me. But do you really think that you can kill me just because you have the heavenly flames? You're gravely mistaken. Your cultivation is too low. You can't display the might of the heavenly flames." The Great Desire Devil King roared. "Rip!" The Great Desire Devil King, who was wrapped in heavenly flames, stretched out his hands and tore. The heavenly flames that were originally wrapped around the Great Desire Devil King were instantly torn apart. Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. He wanted to continue controlling the heavenly flames to trap the Great Desire Devil King, but it was already too late. The Great Desire Devil King quickly retreated. Crack! The void split open, and a magical treasure flew out. It was a pitch-black cauldron that emitted a gloomy aura. The Great Desire Devil King directly entered the cauldron. "Brat, I have the demon cauldron to protect me. You're dreaming if you want to take my life." The demon cauldron soared into the sky and charged at Lin Feng. It seemed like it wanted to kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression sank. He hadn't expected the Great Desire Devil King to have such a trump card. It was indeed as the Great Desire Devil King had said. It was impossible for him to kill the Great Desire Devil King now. Lin Feng hastily took out the 4 vicious cauldron and entered it. He controlled the cauldron to attack the demon cauldron. Clang! Clang! The 2 cauldrons collided, and the void split open. Lin Feng sneered. Old bastard. You're dreaming if you want to kill me with a broken cauldron. The great desired Devil King was incomparably depressed. He wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng to shreds. However, he couldn't do anything to Lin Feng. The great desired Devil King said, "Brat, quickly leave the Cosmos Cauldron, and I'll spare your life." "Humph. I don't mind wasting time with you like this. I'm waiting for a sleeping expert to wake up. At that time, we'll join hands and kill you. This universe cavern will be mine." The desired Devil King's Cosmos Cauldron. Who are you trying to bluff? The great Lust Demon King sneered. Desired Devil King Cauldron Kings. Desires is desire him. The great Desired Demon King looked grim, but he didn't dare act carelessly. He released his godly awareness to inspect Lin Feng's body, and his expression changed drastically. He sensed a terrifying cultivator in Lin Feng's body, who was meditating in seclusion. The great desired Devil King was alarmed by the aura of that existence. It seemed to be much older than him. "Brat, I can tell you that even if I give you the Cosmos Cauldron, you won't want it," the great desired Devil King said. "Why?" Lin Feng asked. "Every time the Cosmos Cauldron appears, it won't stay in the mortal world for long. At most, it will stay for 1 or 2 years before disappearing again. It will only appear again after thousands or even tens of thousands of years. The new owner of the Cosmos Cauldron won't be able to leave and will be trapped here," the great desired Devil King said sinisterly. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. Wasn't this the same as the Fire Crow? The new owner of the Cosmos Cauldron? Would he suffer the same curse as the Fire Crow? Of course, Lin Feng didn't completely believe the great desired Devil King's cauldron. He sneered. "Do you think I'll believe your nonsense?" The great desired Devil King said, "Actually, you do believe me in your heart. Do you know why my body was destroyed?" Lin Feng frowned slightly. He thought of a possibility, but he didn't say it out loud. The great desired Devil King said, "Do you already know the answer in your heart?" "Yes, it's as you guessed. My body couldn't withstand the corrosion of time and gradually aged. I knew that when my body completely decayed, my soul would also die. At that time, I would completely disappear from this world. Thus, before my body completely aged, I destroyed my own body and focused on cultivating my soul. That's how I managed to survive until now." "So you'll never be able to leave the Cosmos Cauldron?" Lin Feng raised his brows slightly. "The Cosmos Emperor. He's a bastard. He's not looking for a successor. He's looking for someone to guard the cauldron for him. The Cosmos Cauldron hides a huge secret." The great desired Devil King seemed to realize that he had misspoken and quickly shut his mouth. Lin Feng didn't ask what the secret was, because it definitely wasn't simple. With his current cultivation, knowing about it would only bring him disaster. "Since your life is already hopeless, hurry up and give me all the treasures. Give me all the treasures, and I'll leave," Lin Feng said. "Who says my life is hopeless? Once my soul reaches the giant god realm, I'll be able to leave this place." The great desired Devil King snorted coldly, then laughed strangely. "Are you sure you want the treasures here? If you want them, I don't mind giving them to you. However, we'll have to see if you can take them away." Lin Feng frowned. The Cosmos Cauldron was indeed very strange. It could even imprison an expert like the great desired Devil King. Lin Feng was somewhat apprehensive about the treasures inside. Lin Feng thought about it and decided that it wasn't worth risking his life for the treasures. He smiled innocently and said, "It's fine if you don't want the treasures. Great desired Devil King, you've lived for who knows how long, so you should have a lot of powerful divine abilities, right? Teach me 8 or 10 top-tier divine abilities." 8 or 10 top-tier divine abilities. Kid, you must be dreaming. The great desired Devil King sneered. The great desired Devil King sneered. Cultivators usually cherished what they had. Even if they took their legacies to their graves, they wouldn't pass them on to others. This was even more so for demonic Tao cultivators. They wouldn't even pass on their divine abilities to their own disciples or descendants, let alone outsiders. The great desired Devil King was a demonic Tao cultivator. Passing on his divine abilities to Lin Feng was even more unbearable than killing him. Lin Feng sneered. "If you don't want to, then don't. We'll just wait for my helper to wake up. Then, we'll deal with you together. We'll kill you and search your soul. Even if we can't get all of your divine abilities, we should still be able to get a few of them, right? The great desired Devil King's expression turned gloomy. He sneered and said, "If we really fight, it's hard to say who will emerge victorious." Lin Feng said, "I'm looking forward to that battle." The great desired Devil King's gaze turned cold. He didn't want to gamble with his life, especially when Lin Feng still had two types of heavenly flames. "At most, I'll teach you one divine ability. Of course, it's an ancient divine ability, so it won't disappoint you." The great desired Devil King said with a gloomy expression, "If it's just one, then I want 3,000 great das." Lin Feng smiled. 3,000 great das? Why don't you just rob me?" The great desired Devil King roared. He wanted nothing more than to pounce on Lin Feng and fight him to the death. When had he ever been threatened like this? 3,000 great das were secrets that couldn't be passed on. Chapter 1195. Lin Feng wasn't surprised at all by Great Desired Demon King's reaction. The 3,000 grand das were too precious, and it wouldn't be easy to make Great Desired Demon King hand them over. Lin Feng said, "Great Desired Demon King, I'm telling you, I'm robbing you in broad daylight. Of course, if you don't want to give me the 3,000 grand das, do you have any Emperor techniques? Compared to the 3,000 grand das, I prefer Emperor techniques. Make a decision quickly because I don't have that much patience. If you don't agree, I'll have to awaken that expert and have him join hands with me to destroy you." The great Lust Demon King gnashed his teeth in anger, his entire body trembling. As for the trapped cultivators, they were all dumbfounded. Lin Feng actually dared to threaten Great Desired Demon King in such a blatant manner. This was completely out of their expectations. Great Desired Demon King seemed to be afraid of the expert Lin Feng was talking about. It was normal for a genius like Lin Feng to have an unknown expert behind him, so no one was surprised. Thus, many people were praying that Lin Feng would save them before he left. If Lin Feng didn't care about them, then they were dead for sure. At this moment, Great Desired Demon King was glaring at Lin Feng with an extremely fierce gaze. If looks could kill, Lin Feng would have been cut into 1,000 pieces by Great Desired Demon King's cold gaze. Great Desired Demon King didn't want to fight to the death, so he clenched his teeth and said, "Fine, brat, you win. I'll teach you the 3,000 grand das." Great Desired Demon King hatefully glared at Lin Feng. Then a message entered Lin Feng's mind. Lin Feng looked at it and found that the 3,000 grand das Great Desired Demon King gave him was called the Great Defense Technique. It was ranked 59th among the 3,000 grand das, and it was a defense-type grand dao. Haha, that's good. Our cooperation can be considered pleasant. Now, let's talk about my second condition for leaving this place. Lin Feng said with a smile. When Great Lust Demon King heard Lin Feng say that there was a second condition, his eyes spat fire. "You're pushing your luck." The Great Lust Demon King glared at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "In a cultivator's negotiation, the dominant party has always been the one with the advantage. If it's between you and me, and you're the one with the advantage, I'm afraid I won't have a good ending, right? I'm only giving you a chance to negotiate because you've worked so hard for so many years. Don't be so ungrateful." Great Lust Demon King was depressed. He had been extorted from one of the 3,000 great das, and this bastard actually said that he was only negotiating with him because of how hard it had been for him all these years. If they really fought, he might not necessarily lose. Great Lust Demon King almost couldn't help but fight Lin Feng to the death. He had never felt so sullen before. However, the Great Lust Demon King resisted time and time again. The Great Lust Demon King didn't want to see both sides suffer. There was one thing that Lin Feng was right about. It had indeed not been easy for the Great Lust Demon King to survive until now. It was precisely because he had gone through so much that he cherished his life even more. "All right, now, tell me, what's your second condition? Didn't you capture a group of people? Release them all," Lin Feng said. The Great Lust Demon King's expression flickered, clearly weighing the pros and cons. He was truly unwilling to release those people. When he saw Lin Feng's calm expression, As if he had everything under control, his expression became even more unsightly. Compared to the people who had been trapped, the great lust demon king wanted to send Lin Feng away as soon as possible. "All right, take them and leave," said Yifutian. The great lust demon king waved his right hand. Swish! There was a flash of light, and over 100 people appeared in the cave. They all fell to the ground weakly. Clearly, the great lust demon king had stolen a lot of their lifespan. However, they were already very lucky to be able to keep their lives. Sikong. Lin Feng was overjoyed when he saw Sikong Jiayue among the crowd. He quickly ran over and took out an origin pill, feeding it to Sikong Jiayue. Sikong Jiayue's body quickly recovered. "Lin Feng, I didn't expect you to come here." Sikong Jiayue and Lin Feng gave each other a bear hug. "Xinyan was worried about you and told me about you, so I came to look for you. Fortunately, I found you. We can't stay here for long. Let's go," Lin Feng said. Sikong Jiayue nodded and stood up with Lin Feng's help. "Bastard, are you blind? Hurry up and help me up. I'll let you carry me out." Sun Yi glared at Lin Feng. Even though she was a bit weak, she still had a fierce personality. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile wryly. Was she really his personal maid? He carried Sun Yi on his back, then looked at the cultivators around him and said, "Everyone, you're all fine now. Your sect's elders are waiting for your news, so you should quickly go back so that they won't continue to worry." Nobody dared to hesitate and quickly left the universe cavern. When they arrived outside, many people collapsed on the ground to recover. Sun Yi had only been tied to the pillar for a short time, so she had mostly recovered by the time they left the universe cavern. Lin Feng put her down. "Brother Lin, I really have to thank you this time. If it hadn't been for you, we would have died." A young man in purple cupped his fists. His name was Su Zhang, and he was a genius from Panglai. He was also present during the gathering at Wanghai Restaurant. "Brother Lin, thank you for saving us today. I'll remember your kindness." Miao Yuling walked over and looked at Lin Feng gratefully. Miao Yuling was a goddess in many people's hearts. During the ocean-gazing restaurant's gathering, her arrival had caused quite a stir. "Thank you, Brother Lin. I'll definitely repay you in the future." Su Yibing also walked over. She was as famous as Miao Yuling. "It's nothing. Don't worry about it." Lin Feng smiled. Many people came over to thank Lin Feng personally. Lin Feng nodded, but he looked very calm. These people expressed their thanks verbally, but it was unknown how many of them were sincere. Lin Feng had saved them for the 10 million top-quality spirit stones, so he didn't expect them to really thank him. The group didn't stay for long. They quickly left the deep-sea devil cave and returned to the 15th cultivators gathering area. Lin Feng arranged for Sikong Jiayue and his friends to stay. Then, he and Sun Yi went to the temporary offices of the influential groups to receive the 10 million top-quality spirit stones. After arriving there, Lin Feng immediately sensed that some people's godly intents were locking onto him. Lin Feng frowned because some of the godly intents locked onto him. Chapter 1196. Someone brought Lin Feng and Sun Yi to the second floor. There were more than 10 cultivators sitting there. When Lin Feng arrived, they all looked at Lin Feng. The cultivators sitting there were all old-timers from the various top factions. They all had deep thoughts. When they looked at Lin Feng, their eyes flickered. No one knew what they were thinking. "You're Lin Feng, the one who stepped on Heavenly God Morong and ascended to the Prodigy Arena?" said a middle-aged man in golden clothes, looking at Lin Feng in a condescending way. This made Lin Feng very unhappy. He said indifferently, "Why ask when you already know?" "Impudent. How dare you talk to me like that?" The middle-aged man hadn't thought that Lin Feng would refuse to give him face. His facial expression suddenly looked glum. He was looking at Lin Feng with an ice-cold expression. Lin Feng didn't know this person, but he could sense that when Lin Feng arrived on the second floor, this person emitted a cold aura that locked onto him. Clearly, this person didn't have good intentions. Coupled with this person's arrogant expression, Lin Feng naturally wouldn't treat him nicely. At this time, an old man said, "Fellow Taoist Jin, you're a famous expert. Why are you getting angry with a 20-year-old junior?" The middle-aged man called Fellow Taoist Jin couldn't help but snort coldly. He looked at Lin Feng coldly. He's Jin Zhengdao from Divine Rock Island. Sun Yi whispered in Lin Feng's ear. Lin Feng nodded. Now that he knew this person's identity, he roughly understood why this person was targeting him. Many people on Tianwu continent knew that he had the Great Pong King and the Peacock Sacred Lord behind him. The enmity between the Great Pong King and Divine Rock Island had long since spread across Tianwu continent. Although the Great Pong King's tribe had some dealings with the Divine Pong Island, their private relationship was definitely not harmonious. Back then, Heavenly Pong King had chased Great Pong King out of Divine Rock Island. Even now, the cultivators of Divine Rock Island were still bragging about it. This would undoubtedly intensify the conflict between the two forces. And Lin Feng had a close relationship with the Great Rock King, so it was normal for the people of the Divine Rock Island to be hostile towards Lin Feng. For the sake of the unity of the golden-winged Great Rock race, the Great Rock King did not seek revenge from the Heavenly Rock King. However, the Heavenly Pong King might not let the Great Pong King go. The Heavenly Pong King was jealous of the Great Pong King's talent, and the elders of the Great Pong King's clan suspected that the Heavenly Pong King was one of the experts that ambushed the Great Pong King. This matter wasn't baseless. Maybe the Heavenly Pong King and the Great Pong King would fight in the future. Most of the time, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and the friend of my enemy is my enemy. Of course, the main reason why the people of the Divine Rock Island wanted to kill Lin Feng was because Lin Feng had too many treasures on him, which were enough for them to risk their lives. Divine weapons, precious medicines that were tens of thousands of years old, hundreds of thousands of years old, immemorial spiritual techniques, the 3,000 Great Tao, the inheritance of the Celestial Master Path, and so on. The people of the Divine Rock Island weren't the only ones who had their eyes on Lin Feng. Many other groups had their eyes on Lin Feng, waiting to kill him and steal his treasures. However, even if these top groups wanted to kill Lin Feng, they wouldn't do it openly. After all, the Great Pong King and the Peacock Saint Lord had warned them, and they didn't want to offend the Great Pong King and the Peacock Saint Lord. Therefore, even if they wanted to take action, they would choose to do it in private. Jin Zhengdao didn't say anything after hearing the old man's advice. He just looked at Lin Feng coldly. The old man smiled and said, "I still have to thank you for saving my grandson. May I know who your grandson is?" asked Lin Feng. "Su Zhang," said the old man with a smile. "So it's Brother Su's grandfather. Junior has been rude." Lin Feng cupped his fists. "Haha, there's no need to be so polite," said the old man with a smile. In fact, 10 years ago, Lin Feng had fought with a disciple of the Ponglai Immortal Island, Chen Yang, in Horlong Town. Chen Yang couldn't defeat Lin Feng and was crippled by Lin Feng. That was why Lin Feng and the Ponglai Immortal Island didn't have a good relationship. Of course, Chen Yang was only an ordinary inner disciple of the Ponglai Immortal Island. The Ponglai Immortal Island naturally wouldn't have a conflict with a genius like Lin Feng because of an ordinary inner disciple. At that moment, another old man in a green robe said, "The 10 million top-grade spirit stones you received are all on this crystal card. Can you check if the amount is correct?" "Thank you, Senior." Lin Feng accepted the crystal card. He didn't check if the amount was correct. A group of Rebirth Realm experts wouldn't do anything for 10 million top-grade spirit stones. Experts of their level would naturally disdain to do such a thing. "Junior will take his leave," said Lin Feng. Lin Feng cupped his fists and left with Sun Yi. The strong cultivators of the Rebirth level narrowed their eyes and watched Lin Feng leave. They all had different expressions. "It seems like someone has set their sights on us. Do you think a Rebirth Realm expert will come to kill us? I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited when a Rebirth Realm expert comes to kill us." Sun Yi clenched her fists excitedly. Slap. Lin Feng slapped Sun Yi's butt. Sun Yi cried out in pain and covered her, but with her hands. She glared at Lin Feng and said, "Why did you hit me?" Lin Feng said, "I hit you because you didn't think before speaking. If a Rebirth Realm expert really comes to kill us, do you think we'll be able to escape?" Sun Yi snorted. "Who said that? That's not necessarily true. If a Rebirth Realm expert really comes, hee." Sun Yi revealed a devilish smile. Lin Feng was slightly taken aback, but then his heart shook. Sun Yi's expression seemed to indicate that she was looking forward to meeting a Rebirth Realm expert. Sun E had a fiery personality. She was a typical shrewish beauty, but she wasn't stupid. How could she be so excited when facing a Rebirth Realm expert? Did that mean Sun E had a way to deal with a Rebirth Realm expert? It seems like you have some hidden cards. I was wrong to hit you just now, Lin Feng said. Sun E snorted twice. Lin Feng said, I'll help you rub it, and it won't hurt anymore. He stretched out his right hand. It seemed like he was really going to help Sun E rub where she had been attacked. Sun E's face immediately turned red, and she spat out, "Stinky pervert." She then fled without a trace. When Lin Feng returned to his residence, he noticed that there were two female cultivators standing behind a tree not far from him. They were looking at his courtyard. Lin Feng frowned slightly. These two female cultivators were the long-legged beauty and the enchanting beauty who had asked him if he wanted to serve them. Now, they had come to his residence. This made Lin Feng a little wary, but the two women didn't seem to realize that Lin Feng already knew that they were hiding behind the tree. Lin Feng didn't expose them. He just went straight into the courtyard. Sikong Jiayue was worried about his sister, Sikong Xinyan, so he left the next day. Lin Feng didn't go back with Sikong Jiayue because he felt that the journey back wouldn't be safe. There might even be a Rebirth Realm expert trying to kill him. It was also a good thing to separate from Sikong Jiayue. 3 days after Sikong Jiayue left, Lin Feng and Sun E left together. Originally, Lin Feng wanted to chase Sun E away. He didn't really want her to be his maid for 3 months. It was just a joke. It was fun to tease Sun E when he had nothing to do. However, Lin Feng knew that Sun E seemed to have some hidden cards that could deal with Rebirth Realm experts. He didn't let Sun E leave and left with her. If there were no Rebirth Realm experts trying to kill him, Lin Feng felt that he could use Sun E's hidden cards to get rid of them. Chapter 1197. Lin Feng and Sun E flew over the ocean. The blue waves rippled as far as the eye could see, and it was a magnificent sight to behold. Sun E asked, "Do you think a Rebirth Realm expert will really come to kill us?" Sun E had asked this question 38 times along the way. When he saw the excitement on her beautiful face, Lin Feng could only smile bitterly. Who would look forward to being killed by a Rebirth Realm expert? However, Sun E was looking forward to it, which made Lin Feng feel rather helpless. Lin Feng had no choice but to explain, "I think it's very likely that they will come. We just have to wait patiently. Of course, it's better if they don't come. No matter what, you've saved so many people. Would they really bite the hand that feeds them?" asked Sun E. Lin Feng pursed his lips and said, "In this world, for the sake of benefits, fathers and sons can turn against each other and become enemies. Brothers can kill each other. What can't happen?" Sun E nodded and said, "That's true. There are the most ingrates in this world. Let's work together and kill all of them." Sun E seemed to be full of energy. Lin Feng was also wondering what method Sun E had to deal with a Rebirth Realm expert. Obviously, Sun E's method was extraordinary, and it couldn't be used casually. Otherwise, Sun E wouldn't have needed to ask him for help when she was besieged by a dozen fierce beasts. She could have just used her hidden method. Lin Feng guessed that Sun E would have to pay a great price to use her hidden method. Sun E wanted to fight a Rebirth Realm expert, and she even wanted to kill one. Sun E probably had other motives. This woman had a wise and far-sighted heart beneath her shrewish personality. Lin Feng could sense this from many small details. If he really treated Sun E as an innocent and naive person, who knew when she would sell him off? He might even have to count the money for her. When night fell, Lin Feng and Sun E landed on a lone island. The two of them found a dry cave. Lin Feng used a formation to cover a radius of 4 to 5 miles. Rebirth Realm experts were too terrifying. If they launched a sneak attack, they could instantly kill him and Sun E. Therefore, Lin Feng had to be cautious. With the defensive formation, if a Rebirth Realm expert really came to kill him, he would be able to sense it in advance. After a simple meal, Lin Feng leaned against the rock wall to rest, while Sun E leaned not far away. Late at night, a figure flew over from afar and landed. "He's hiding here." A cold laugh rang out. The cultivator chasing after them was Jin Zhengdao from Divine Rock Island. This person was a possessor of a special bloodline. The bloodline of the golden-winged Great Peng clan flowed in his veins. Naturally, he was incomparably powerful. Among the rebirth state experts, he was extremely famous. Today, he had personally killed Lin Feng. Obviously, he had absolute confidence in his own strength. If nothing unexpected happened, with his strength of the reincarnation layer, killing Lin Feng wouldn't be a problem. A rebirth state cultivator was too powerful. Jin Zhengdao stepped into the depths of the cave. Suddenly, he stopped. Jin Zhengdao sensed that there was a hidden formation here. You're really cautious. You actually used a formation to cover the surroundings. Brat, you think you're smart, but you don't know that you're as stupid as a pig. Today, I will also use a formation to cover the formation you set up. I will completely seal this place so that you won't even have a chance to escape. Jin Zhengdao immediately laughed sinisterly. Jin Zhengdao was one of the top 3 figures in Divine Rock Island. Among the older generation experts of Divine Rock Island, the Island Lord of Divine Rock Island, Heavenly Rock King, was naturally the leader. And among the experts of the older generation, Jin Zhengdao's achievements were the greatest. Not only was Jin Zhengdao's strength tyrannical, but he also had a deep understanding of formations. His attainments in formations were also extremely profound. Now that he had reached the peak of the heaven stage, he was a spirit array master on the same level as Lin Feng. Jin Zhengdao flew into the air and took out 81 formation flags. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. These formation flags all flew out and stabbed into the ground. Then, crisscrossing formation runes formed in the void. These formation runes connected together to form a powerful formation. And the formation flags were the center of the formation, maintaining the operation of the entire formation. Jin Zhengdao used a powerful formation to cover the formation set up by Lin Feng. After doing all this, Jin Zhengdao's mouth curled into a sneer. He then stepped into the formation set up by Lin Feng. At the same time, Lin Feng opened his eyes. He woke Sun Yi up and said, "Someone's here. It seems to be Jin Zhengdao, but I vaguely feel that other than Jin Zhengdao, there are 2 more hidden auras. However, the other 2 have yet to appear." When Sun Yi heard that a rebirth realm expert had arrived, she excitedly jumped up from the ground. "Great, let's go out and kill Jin Zhengdao now." Sun Yi looked eager to give it a try. Lin Feng's forehead was full of black lines. He said, "How can a rebirth realm expert be killed so easily? Later, I'll be in the open, and you'll be in the dark. I'll take action to restrain Jin Zhengdao, but Jin Zhengdao's strength is too terrifying. I estimate that I won't be able to last more than a few rounds. So, you must find the right opportunity to attack Jin Zhengdao and try to kill him directly. Even if you can't kill him directly, you must severely injure him. Leave this to me. Don't worry about it," said Lin Feng. Sun Yi patted her full chest and said. Lin Feng's eyes suddenly twitched. He couldn't help but mutter in his heart. This Sun Yi's development was really not bad. Of course, Lin Feng knew that now wasn't the time to think about such things. He and Sun Yi quickly left the cave. Lin Feng rushed towards Jin Zhengdao, while Sun Yi concealed herself. Soon, Lin Feng saw Jin Zhengdao's figure. Jin Zhengdao also saw Lin Feng. He thought that Lin Feng was going to run away, so he slapped his palm towards Lin Feng from across the void. A large energy palm blasted over. Lin Feng moved horizontally to the left, narrowly dodging Jin Zhengdao's attack. The energy palm condensed by Jin Zhengdao smashed onto the mountain behind him. The entire mountain was instantly smashed into dust. Your speed isn't bad. You were able to dodge my palm. However, I didn't even use 1% of my strength in that attack, Jin Zhengdao said with a cold smile as he walked over step by step. Lin Feng raised his eyelids and said, "I already felt that you wanted to kill me. As expected, my guess was correct. You really came to kill me. Who asked you to have so many powerful inheritances and treasures? Since the heavens are virtuous, give me all your treasures and divine abilities. I'll give you a quick death. If you dare to resist, I'll crush your bones inch by inch when I capture you. Then, I'll extract your soul and burn it with hellfire. I'll make you beg for death." Jin Zhengdao gloomily looked at Lin Feng. Evidently, he didn't put Lin Feng in his eyes at all. In Jin Zhengdao's eyes, Lin Feng was just an ant. He could crush Lin Feng to death with just a flick of his finger. Chapter 1198. Lin Feng sneered and said, Jin Zhengdao, you're too arrogant. The battle hasn't even started, and you're already acting like you have everything under control. How laughable. Jin Zhengdao said disdainfully, do you think you can turn the tables around? Do you think an ant can stir up trouble in front of a dragon? Lin Feng said, you think I'm an ant, but I'm not an ant, and you're not a dragon in my eyes. Do you know why I chose this island to rest? It's because there are 36 islands around this island, and this is the central island. According to the arrangement of the stars in the sky, this is a natural array, and the eye of the array is here. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng suddenly waved his right hand. Asterisk rumble. Asterisk a loud noise shook the sky, and the 36 islands around him shook violently. Then, each island shot out a beam of light. These light beams converged in midair and formed a huge dragon. Asterisk roar. Asterisk the dragon let out a loud roar, bared its fangs and brandished its claws, and pounced towards Jin Zhengdao. This was the power of the Celestial Master Sect. They could borrow the power of heaven and earth to fight their enemies. Most of the time, the Celestial Master Sect's inheritance could display incredible destructive power, just like now. The dragon was pouncing towards Lin Feng, and its power was enough to destroy heaven and earth. Do you think you can fight me by relying on the power of the outside world? You're gravely mistaken. My strength isn't something that can be stopped by the power of the outside world. Jin Zhengdao's expression was indifferent as he slapped his palm towards the dragon. Asterisk bang. Asterisk following an earth-shaking sound, Jin Zhengdao and the dragon collided. The destructive power of their collision was too strong. Asterisk crack. Asterisk even the island began to crack. For ferocious cauldrons, come out. Lin Feng knew that the dragon could only last 3 or 4 rounds before it was destroyed by Jin Zhengdao. Therefore, he took out the cauldrons to deal with Jin Zhengdao. Lin Feng entered the cauldrons and controlled them to attack Jin Zhengdao. Once the cauldrons charged, their destructive power was terrifying. Jin Zhengdao's expression changed when he sensed the power of the cauldrons. He slapped the dragon with his left hand and the cauldrons with his right hand. Lin Feng was indeed worthy of being a Rebirth Realm expert. He was fighting 2 opponents at once, and he was able to block the attacks of the cauldrons and the dragon. An ant-like brat dares to challenge me? You really don't know the difference between life and death. Jin Zhengdao's the cauldron's ants attack and the dragon's attacks. Jin Zhengdao's cauldrons. At the same time, he attacks cauldrons. Great entanglement technique. Suddenly, the 3,000 thousands, SSD, TSS Feng, dense threads flew out and wrapped around Jin Zhengdao's body, making him look like a dumpling. Go to hell. At that moment, Sun Yi rushed out from her hiding place. Seeing the weapon in her hand, Lin Feng almost fell to the ground. Sun Yi's frail body was carrying a huge black door. It was 5 meters long, 4 meters wide, and half a meter thick. Lin Feng didn't know what it was made of. There was a protruding part that looked like a sword's hilt. Sun Yi grabbed the hilt with both hands and directly threw the huge door at Jin Zhengdao. Clearly, Sun Yi had already activated the door's power. The huge door was covered in runes. A sinister and bloodthirsty aura was emitted from the huge door. Jin Zhengdao's expression changed abruptly. His strength was very strong, and he instantly broke free from the threads that were entangling him. Then, he threw a punch at the door that was coming at him. However, at that moment, 3 swords flew out of the cauldrons. Lin Feng circulated the regal sword control art and directly took out the 3 swords, Black Dragon Sword, Void Death Sword, and Spring and Autumn Sword. The 3 swords turned into 3 cold rays of light that shot towards Jin Zhengdao. Jin Zhengdao had no choice but to block the 3 swords. I didn't think that you 2 ants would be able to force me to take out my magic treasure. Jin Zhengdao didn't panic. His expression was indifferent as he took out one of his defensive magic treasures. It was a Peak Dao artifact defensive magic treasure called the Jade Spirit Shield. After Jin Zhengdao took out the Jade Spirit Shield, it released a defensive barrier that protected him. The 3 treasured swords bombarded the defensive light cover constructed by the Jade Spirit Shield, and were unexpectedly blocked by the defensive light cover. as expected of a peak Dao artifact defensive magic treasure. Its defensive power was truly tyrannical. At that moment, Sun Yi's attack came crashing down. Jin Zhengdao's expression was indifferent. He was very confident in the Jade Spirit Shield's defensive power. At that moment, he was even thinking about how to immediately kill Sun Yi and capture Lin Feng. Then, he would ruthlessly torture Lin Feng. Jin Zhengdao's wishful thinking was pretty good, but he didn't think that Sun Yi's magic treasure would be so powerful. Clang! The door in Sun Yi's hand smashed into Jin Zhengdao's defensive magic treasure. That pinnacle Dao artifact-level defensive magic treasure was torn apart in an instant like it was made of paper. How is this possible? Jin Zhengdao shouted in disbelief. A trace of fear appeared in his eyes. He quickly retreated, wanting to dodge Sun Yi's attack. But it was too late. Sun Yi shouted excitedly, "In order to activate this magic treasure, I used 10 drops of heavenly god liquid. My heart hurts so much." The instant she said that, the huge black door in Sun Yi's hand smashed into Jin Zhengdao's body. Bang! The attack ruthlessly smashed into Jin Zhengdao's body, sending him flying like a kite with its string cut. Half of his body had exploded, and his entire left arm had disappeared. White bones were everywhere, and it was extremely terrifying. However, even with such a fatal injury, Jin Zhengdao was still alive. His cultivation base was too high, and it wouldn't be easy to kill him. How is this possible? I was actually heavily injured by 2 juniors. Jin Zhengdao couldn't believe it, but his reaction was still very fast. He knew that the situation was hopeless, so he quickly fled into the distance. At that moment, Sun Yi's huge magic treasure devoured all of Jin Zhengdao's blood. On the door, a blood-red eye opened. Lin Feng discovered that the magic treasure had a total of 99 blood-red eyes. The one that had just opened was the 3rd blood-red eye. After the blood-red eye opened, Sun Yi seemed very excited. "Chase," Lin Feng said, taking the lead to chase after the fleeing Jin Zhengdao. Chapter 11:99. Jin Zhengdao was from the golden-winged Great Pong clan, which was best at speed. If they ran, no one would be able to catch up with them. However, now that Jin Zhengdao was heavily injured, his speed was greatly reduced. This gave Lin Feng a chance to catch up with him. Because Lin Feng's speed was fast enough, it was normal for Jin Zhengdao to be caught up. When he was about 100 meters away from Jin Zhengdao, Lin Feng used the regal sword control technique. 3 swords moved as fast as lightning towards Jin Zhengdao. Sword light flashed in the air as the 3 swords whistled through the air and caught up in an instant, aiming for Jin Zhengdao's head, chest, and abdomen. Jin Zhengdao's expression was gloomy. He no longer wanted to continue fighting with Lin Feng and Sun Yi because he knew that in his current state, if he continued fighting, he would die. When facing the 3 swords, Jin Zhengdao raised his right hand, and a Milky Way appeared. That Milky Way separated him from Lin Feng's 3 swords. The galaxy blocked the attacks of the 3 swords, and he continued to escape. Jin Zhengdao was roaring hysterically in his heart, "You 2 little bastards, just wait until I recover and return to my clan. I'll bring back reinforcements and divine weapons. Then, you'll die without a grave." Jin Zhengdao wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng and Sun Yi to pieces, but he knew that now wasn't the time. He had to endure and suppress the killing intent and anger in his heart. Lin Feng chased after him and destroyed Jin Zhengdao's galaxy with a single palm strike. Then, he quickly chased after Jin Zhengdao. Jin Zhengdao's speed was indeed very fast. He rushed out of Lin Feng's great formation and activated it. He wanted to use it to stop Lin Feng and Sun Yi. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He directly took out 3 swords and forcefully tore apart Jin Zhengdao's great formation. Then, he and Sun Yi rushed out of the great formation and chased after Jin Zhengdao. Jin Zhengdao is heavily injured. The 2 experts hiding in the dark were shocked. This was something they had not expected. Jin Zhengdao was seriously injured and on the run, being chased by 2 juniors. This was simply unbelievable. That treasure is the Blood-Eye Demonic Sword. Suddenly, the Rebirth Realm experts that were hiding in the shadows exclaimed with shock. The Blood-Eye Devil Sword was a famous magic treasure of the Devil Dao. It was rumored that it was forged by a Devil Dao Great Emperor called the Blood-Eye Devil Emperor in the Primordial Era. It was a quasi-emperor weapon. Originally, the Great Emperor wanted to forge the Blood-Eye Demon Sword into an emperor weapon. However, he could not find the most crucial material even after searching all over the universe. Therefore, the Blood-Eye Demon Sword was not forged into a true emperor weapon until the Great Emperor's death. However, a quasi-emperor weapon was already terrifying enough. By the time Jin Zhongdao reached the 15th cultivator gathering place, his speed had decreased a lot. Lin Feng was almost at his limit, so he hurriedly absorbed the energy of a jade leaf stone to recover his magic power. Boom! At that moment, a terrifying aura came from the depths of the 15th cultivator gathering place. It seemed as if someone was coming to rescue Jin Zhongdao. Lin Feng's expression sank. He said, "I'll catch up to Jin Zhongdao as quickly as possible. Get ready to use that door to kill him." Understood. Sun Yi took out a porcelain bottle. One could faintly see some spiritual liquid inside. She opened the bottle and poured 10 drops onto the Blood-Eye demonic sword, which quickly absorbed them. Void travel. World of 8 corners. Lin Feng used both of his divine abilities to increase his speed. He traveled through the void and instantly appeared above Jin Zhongdao. Die! Sun Yi leapt into the air, holding the huge door in her hand. It felt as if Mount Tai was crashing down on Jin Zhongdao. No! Jin Zhongdao screamed. Jin Zhongdao screamed in horror. He condensed a god art to block, but he couldn't stop the attack. Bang! The attack landed on Jin Zhongdao's body, causing his body to explode into a bloody mist. Both his body and soul were destroyed. He died on the spot. All of the bloody mist was devoured by Sun Yi's huge door. Brats, you're courting death. A furious roar shook the sky as a skinny old man with sinister eyes appeared. Tian Pengqing. It's Tian Pengqing. Lin Feng and that woman are dead for sure. Many people cried out in alarm when they saw the old man. Tian Pengqing was known as the strongest expert in the overseas region. His strength was unfathomable. Chapter 1200. Go, go, go. Lin Feng shouted, not daring to stay any longer. How terrifying was the heavenly Pengqing. He had cultivated for over 8,000 years and was known as the strongest expert in the East Sea 3,000 years ago. Back then, even the great Pengqing wanted to become his disciple. However, the heavenly Pengqing was jealous of the great Pengqing's talent and humiliated him before chasing him out. After so many years, no one knew how terrifying the heavenly Pengqing's strength had become. However, one thing was certain. The current heavenly Pengqing must have reached an unfathomable level. His cultivation was probably world-shaking. Lin Feng and Sun Yi had worked together to kill Jin Zhongdao because they had caught him off guard and severely injured him. In addition, Jin Zhongdao did not have any weapon that could block a quasi-emperor weapon. That was how they had managed to kill him. However, the heavenly Pengqing was different. As the current island lord of the divine Peng Island, the heavenly Pengqing must have an extremely powerful treasure. It was very likely to be a divine artifact. With the heavenly Pengqing's cultivation, the might of a divine artifact was far inferior to the might of Sun Yi's quasi-emperor weapon, the Blood-Eye demonic sword. This was doubtful. Secondly, the heavenly Pengqing was too powerful. Even a quasi-emperor weapon might not be able to injure him. Lastly, Lin Feng and Sun Yi were currently in a weakened state. After all, they had fought with Jin Zhongdao and chased him all the way to the 15th cultivator assembly area. Meanwhile, the heavenly Pengqing was at his peak. How were they supposed to fight him? Lin Feng carried Sun Yi on his back and fled frantically into the distance. Little bastard, where do you think you're going? The heavenly Pengqing's voice was cold and filled with bone-chilling killing intent. The heavenly Pengqing was simply too fast. He was gradually closing the distance between them. Have you forgotten the great Pengqing and Sacred Lord Peacock's warning? Lin Feng said with a gloomy expression. 2 mere juniors. Their warning might be able to scare ordinary Rebirth Realm experts, but do you think it's capable of scaring me? Even if I kill you, the 2 of them won't dare to say a word. Do you believe me? Heavenly Pengqing sneered. This person clearly had absolute confidence in himself. He did not place the great Peng King and the peacock Holy Lord in his eyes at all. Lin Feng felt that this was going to be bad. Since the heavenly Peng King did not care about the great Peng King and the peacock Saint Lord, he naturally attacked him without any hesitation. You're an expert of the older generation who has cultivated for more than 8,000 years, yet you're chasing after two 20-year-old people. How shameless. I feel ashamed for you. You've disgraced 18 generations of your ancestors. Sun Yi shouted. What a sharp-tongued girl. But when I catch you later, I really want to see if you can still say such stupid things like now. Heavenly Peng King's expression was indifferent. Both parties, one fleeing and the other chasing, soon rushed into the vast sea. Let's go and take a look. Many people shouted and chased after them. However, their speed could not catch up to Lin Feng and Heavenly Peng King. Little bastard, you're really good at running, but you won't be able to escape. I'll capture you. Heavenly Peng King was too fast. In just a quarter of an hour, he had already caught up with Lin Feng and Sunny. He stretched out his hand and grabbed at the air. In a flash, a gigantic hand condensed in the air and moved towards Lin Feng and Sun Yi. Lin Feng and Sun Yi were astonished to find that they couldn't move. Their faces turned deathly pale. Lin Feng woke up Bibi at that critical moment. Iya, Iya. Bei Bei opened his sleepy eyes. This little fellow was still young, so he had always been rather sleepy. After being woken up, Bibi sensed danger and hastily released a 7-colored light which wrapped around Lin Feng and Sun Yi. They quickly disappeared. You won't be able to escape. Heavenly Peng King's expression sank and he couldn't help snorting coldly. He had been so close to capturing Lin Feng and Sun Yi, but he had failed at the last step. His expression naturally wouldn't be good. Heavenly Peng King also disappeared without a trace. Bibi brought Lin Feng and Sun Yi to a place 15 miles away. This little fellow is so cute. Let big sister give you a kiss. Sun Yi's eyes widened when she saw Bibi. She looked like she had been subdued by Bibi. She wanted to hug Bibi and give her a few kisses. Lin Feng was speechless. This was a moment of life and death, but Sun Yi was still worried about whether Bibi was cute or not. She should worry about her own life first. Bibi clearly didn't want to have any contact with Sun Yi. It was only close to Lin Feng, so it avoided Sun Yi. At this moment, the heavenly Peng King appeared. His expression was indifferent as he asked, "What species is this little beast? It's actually so powerful?" "Yeah," Bibi called out and continued to bring Lin Feng and Sun Yi away. This was Bibi's racial innate ability. Lin Feng's void travel technique allowed him to travel a short distance. It was suitable to be used in a duel, but it wasn't suitable for running away. Bibi's racial innate ability allowed her to travel a long distance. She could travel 15 miles with a single void travel technique, and that was only because she was still young. If Bibi grew up, she could travel a few hundred miles with a single void travel technique. Lin Feng wouldn't find it strange at all. However, Heavenly Peng King's methods were also extremely terrifying. Bibi had brought Lin Feng and Sun Yi through several void travel techniques, but Heavenly Peng King was still able to chase after them. He was too terrifying, and there was no way to shake him off. Bibi was too young, and she had already reached her limit after 10 void travel techniques. Lin Feng's heart ached when he saw how exhausted Bibi was. He had Bibi enter his pouch to rest. Then, he continued to fly with Sun Yi on his back. That little beast is really not bad, you little bastard. You really have a lot of secrets. Divine abilities, treasures, and now a mysterious little beast. But everything you've obtained is destined to be a gift to someone else. Heavenly Peng King's expression was indifferent as he sent a palm strike over. In the void, a huge energy palm condensed and instantly blasted out. Old bastard. I'll fight you to the death. Sun Yi poured all of the heavenly god liquid on her blood-eye demonic sword. There were about 20 drops of heavenly god liquid. The blood-eye demonic sword's power was pushed to the limit as it smashed towards the huge palm of energy. Bang! But Heavenly Peng King was too terrifying. He had casually condensed a huge palm of energy and instantly destroyed the blood-eye demonic sword's attack. Then, that huge palm of energy grabbed Lin Feng and Sun Yi. The two of them were shocked to find that they couldn't move at all. They could only watch as the huge palm of energy grabbed them. Chapter 1201. Heavenly Pong King, you've been famous for thousands of years, yet you're attacking two young people in their 20s. No matter how shameless you are, you shouldn't be this shameless, right? Just as Lin Feng and Sun Yi were feeling despair, a voice suddenly rang out. Following that, a man stepped out of the void. It was a middle-aged man with a full beard. He had a very muscular body, and he looked like a savage. However, this barbarian-like man was exceptionally strong. When he took a step forward, the attack that the Sky Rock Monarch had condensed in the void shattered instantly. Lin Feng and Sun Yi felt the pressure on their bodies disappear, and they heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Feng didn't recognize this savage man, and judging from Sun Yi's expression, she didn't know him either. Lin Feng didn't know why this man had saved them, but Lin Feng still hurriedly thanked the cultivator. Sun Yi also bowed and thanked the cultivator. "Don't be so polite. It was nothing." The savage man waved his hand and said in a thunderous voice. The heavenly Pong King gloomily looked at the savage man and said in a low voice, "Who are you? How dare you meddle in my affairs? I don't like the look of it, so I meddle. You two brats, leave quickly." The barbarian-like man said, "Thank you, senior. However, you must be careful of this person. This person has no principles and doesn't even care about the face of a rebirth realm expert. He might use despicable methods to deal with you, so you must be careful." Lin Feng said, "Ha ha ha, well said. The famous heavenly Pong King really doesn't care about his face." The barbarian-like man laughed 3 times. Lin Feng and Sun Yi didn't dare to stay, and they hurriedly flew away. The heavenly Pong King wanted to chase after Lin Feng and Sun Yi, but he was stopped by the savage man. "Heavenly Pong King, your opponent is me?" The savage man sneered. "You're courting death." The heavenly Pong King was enraged. He used a divine ability called Raging Wind and Rain to attack the barbarian. This divine ability condensed a boundless storm and a torrential rain. The storm instantly tore apart the world. A single drop of rain was like a sword that could cut apart the world. The destructive attack blasted towards the barbarian man. "Heavenly Finger." The barbarian-like man let out a long howl and pointed out a finger, instantly dispersing the storm and rain swords. Then, a finger condensed in the air and shot towards the heavenly Pong King. "Heavenly Finger, so it's you, Demon Monarch Lan Ling." Heavenly Pong King roared as 108,000 sword chi appeared behind him. All of them shot towards Devil Monarch Lan Ling. While the two strong cultivators were fighting, Lin Feng and Sun Yi quickly flew away. "I wonder how's of the battle?" asked Sun Yi with a frown. Lin Feng said, "That savage senior is definitely not simple. I feel that his cultivation is not inferior to the heavenly Pong King's. The Tianwu continent is really full of experts. The Tianwu continent is too big. It's normal for there to be hidden experts," said Sunny. Lin Feng nodded. With the savage man blocking the heavenly Pong King, he and Sun Yi smoothly returned to the first cultivator gathering area. After arriving, Lin Feng wasn't afraid that the heavenly Pong King would chase after them. If he really dared to come, they might be able to kill the heavenly Pong King with the help of the Spirit Formation Master Guild. Many ants could kill an elephant. Furthermore, the Spirit Formation Master Guild had a terrifying amount of power. As for Lin Feng, as the great elder of the Spirit Formation Master Guild, he had a lot of authority. Now, even Morong Baichuan, the person in charge of the 72 northern states, had taken the initiative to befriend Lin Feng. In Morong Baichuan's opinion, after the 4 saint-ranked Spirit Formation Masters left the Tianwu continent, Lin Feng would be one of the candidates to become the new master of the Spirit Formation Master Guild. Lin Feng and Sun Yi walked towards the Spirit Formation Master Guild. He asked, "What kind of magic treasure is that door of yours? Although it looks ugly, its power is really tyrannical." Sun Yi said proudly, "This treasure is called the Blood-Eye Demon Sword. It's a quasi-emperor weapon. No wonder it's so powerful. However, it doesn't look like a sword. It looks more like a big iron door." Lin Feng said. Sun Yi snorted and said, "What do you know? This kind of sword is cool. When you activated the Blood-Eye Demon Sword, You seem to have used some kind of liquid. What kind of liquid was that? It could actually activate the power of a quasi-emperor weapon? Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat, and he couldn't help but ask curiously. Quasi-emperor weapons were even more difficult to activate than divine weapons. With Lin Feng's cultivation, if he wanted to activate a divine weapon's power, he would have to sacrifice his lifespan. He would have to pay such a huge price to activate a divine weapon's power, let alone a quasi-emperor weapon. It's called the Heavenly God Liquid. It's said that it's made from the blood of a heavenly god mixed with hundreds of other materials. It's a treasure refined by alchemists, and it's extremely valuable. I only managed to obtain a bottle of it by chance, but I've already used it up. It seems that I won't be able to activate the Blood-Eye Demon Sword for now. Sun Yi sighed. Alchemists? Who are they? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. Sun Yi said, alchemy warlocks are an extremely ancient profession. It's said that in ancient times, the inheritance of alchemy warlocks was nearly lost. Fortunately, it's still passed down intermittently until now. However, it's very difficult for ordinary people to see alchemy warlocks. These alchemy warlocks can refine many unimaginable things, such as the Heavenly God Elixir. Lin Feng rubbed his chin and said, maybe I can ask around about alchemists. If I can find them, I'll be able to buy some Heavenly God Liquid. If he could buy some Heavenly God Liquid, Lin Feng would be able to activate the power of his divine weapons. At that time, even if a Rebirth Realm cultivator came, so what? He could activate his divine weapons and kill them with a single slash. Alchemists might not necessarily have Heavenly God Liquid, said Sun Yi. After all, a Heavenly God's blood is too rare. Of course, if you can find an alchemist, it'll be a great thing. I heard from an elder that alchemists have a lot of good things. Even if you can't buy the Heavenly God Elixir, you can buy some other good things. Lin Feng nodded. Not long after, he and Sun Yi returned to the Alchemist Union. After they returned, an elder called Wang Dong came to report, Great Elder, President Murong is holding a banquet for guests. Those people have all come for you. President Murong already knows that you've returned, so he sent a subordinate to invite you to the VIP lounge. Who are they? Asked Lin Feng suspiciously. They're from the Passionless Island of the North Sea, the Fire Country of the Hades Sea, and the Four Seasons sect of the South Sea, said Elder Wang. Chapter 1202. Su Yibing came from the Passionless Island in the North Sea, Hua Lai came from the Endless Fire Nation in the Netherworld Sea, and Miao Yuling came from the Four Seasons sect in the South Sea. Lin Feng didn't have any interactions with these three powers, so he didn't know why they were looking for him. He walked towards the VIP lounge. Sun Yi also followed Lin Feng to watch the show with great interest. When they arrived at the VIP lounge, they found more than 10 people sitting there. Murong Baichuan and Wang Changming were from the Spirit Array Master Guild, and Lin Feng didn't recognize the rest. They were probably cultivators from the three powers. Haha, Great Elder Lin is here. If you want to talk about the matter you mentioned before, you can talk to Great Elder Lin face to face. Murong Baichuan smiled. When the 10 people in the lounge saw Lin Feng arrive, they all stood up. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel apprehensive. Murong Baichuan's expression seemed to indicate that the matter they wanted to discuss was something good. Is this little friend Lin? You're really young and talented. An old man smiled at Lin Feng. This old man should be from the Endless Fire Nation, because he cultivated a fire attribute divine ability. Although he didn't deliberately release it, Lin Feng could still faintly feel a scorching aura coming from his body. Therefore, Lin Feng concluded that he was a cultivator from the Endless Fire Nation. Senior, you're too polite. Lin Feng cupped his fists. Little friend, you're a dragon among dragons. No wonder you were able to step on God Murong and ascend to the heavens' proud arena. A beautiful woman said with a smile. Another old woman said, Little friend Lin, a genius like you is rarely seen in this world. Lin Feng felt apprehensive. What did the three powers mean by praising him so fiercely? Lin Feng was full of doubts. He couldn't help but look at Murong Baichuan. Murong Baichuan smiled and said, I presume that Great Elder Lin doesn't know who you are. Allow me to introduce you. This is Hua Qian Yaohua from the Endless Fire Nation. He is the third uncle of the Fire Nation's ruler and Hua Lai, Er's third grandfather. This is Granny Bingyun. Granny Bingyun is the supreme elder of the Heartless Island in the North Sea. This is Great Elder Miao Diayu from the Four Seasons sect. She's Miao Yuling Sant. Greetings, masters, said Lin Feng, bowing respectfully. Lin Feng bowed to the three people. No need to be so courteous. The three of them smiled faintly. Let's sit down. Murong Baichuan smiled and said, Lin Feng. At that moment, Lin Feng asked, I've heard that you came here to talk to me about something. May I know why? Hua Qianyao laughed heartily. I heard that you haven't taken a wife yet, nor are you engaged. Lin Feng was startled. He didn't know why Hua Qianyao had suddenly brought this up. He nodded subconsciously and said, That's right. Hua Qianyao smiled and said, I believe you have already met that girl, liar. Although she has a fiery temperament, she is actually very passionate. She has also reached the age of marriage. A few days ago, she told me that she met you at a gathering and was subdued by you. She asked me to matchmake you two. In my opinion, you and Lai are a perfect match, a match made in heaven. What do you think, young friend? What do you think? Lin Feng was completely stunned. He had been trying to guess why Hua Qianyao and the others had come looking for him. He had also made many guesses, but he had never guessed that Hua Qianyao had come to matchmake him and Hua Lai. Lin Feng was completely dumbfounded. At this time, Granny Bingyun said, Little friend, marriage is an important matter, and it's very important. You mustn't make a hasty decision. I came here today because of that girl, Yibing. Little friend, you've met that girl more than once, right? Not long ago, you rescued her from the universe cavern. Although Yibing has a cold personality, she's always kept that matter in her heart. Ever since that day, she couldn't forget you, so she asked me to help her. Come, Yibing is the same age as you, so you'll definitely have a lot to talk about. That's why I feel that if you and Yibing get together, you'll definitely find each other agreeable. As soon as Granny Bingyun finished speaking, Miao Diayu said, In my opinion, little friend Lin and my Yuling are the best match. My Yuling is gentle and considerate. She will definitely be a good wife and mother in the future. Moreover, there's a saying in our South Sea world that if you marry a wife, you should marry Miao Yuling. My Yuling is grateful to little friend Lin for saving her life, and she also admires little friend Lin's heroic spirit. She often misses little friend Lin by herself, but that girl is shy and hides her thoughts in her heart. As her aunt, since I know, I naturally have to matchmake them. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Hua Qianyao had come to propose marriage. He was already very shocked. Now, even Granny Bingyun and Miao Diayu had come to propose marriage. Lin Feng felt like he was in a dream. What was going on? Three peerless beauties were going to marry him? Lin Feng naturally didn't believe Hua Qianyao, Granny Bingyun, and Miao Diayu. What did they mean by fall in love with me? This was utter nonsense. Lin Feng thought about it and could more or less guess what the three sects were thinking. He said, Actually, I already have a confidant, so I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you three fairies. Miao Diayu smiled and said, A confidant might not necessarily become your wife, so don't make a decision so quickly. Lin Feng was about to refuse when Murong Baichuan gave Lin Feng a look. Lin Feng swallowed the words that he was about to blurt out and said, just as Senior said, marriage is not a trifling matter, so this Junior will have to think about it carefully. Of course, I hope you can quickly make a decision. It's quite late now, so we'll be taking our leave. Hua Qianyao, Granny Bingyun, and Miao Diayu left. Lin Feng, Murong Baichuan, and Wang Chengming sent them off. Afterwards, they returned to the hall. Sunny said with a sour tone, You must be so happy now, you stinky hoodlum, right? Hua Lai, Miao Yuling, and Su Yibing are all peerless beauties who are devastatingly beautiful and are goddesses in countless people's hearts. Now that they've all fallen in love with you, you should be happy. Lin Feng smiled and said, Actually, I like you the most, my personal maid. Sun Yi's face slightly reddened and she lightly harumphed, but she felt quite happy in her heart. Seeing Murong Baichuan and Wang Chengming looking at her and Lin Feng with ambiguous gazes, even with Sun Yi's shrewish personality, she couldn't help but feel quite embarrassed. She lightly harumphed and left the hall. Chapter 1203. Great Elder Lin, what are you thinking? Wang Changming smiled at Lin Feng and asked, "Is it because you're worried about your happiness?" Thinking about it, Hualai, Su Yibing, and Miao Yuling are all top-tier goddesses in the eyes of young people like you. Choosing between them is as difficult as ascending to the heavens. It's not impossible to marry all of them, but the key point is that it won't be easy, haha. Lin Feng smiled bitterly and shook his head when he heard Wang Changming's teasing. Murong Baichuan said, "Those three powers won't do anything without benefits. As for how sincere they are, I don't know." Wang Changming nodded and said, "Great Elder Lin is in the limelight right now. He has so many things that make people's hearts pound. Take the Endless Fire Nation, for example. They must be thinking about heavenly flames. It's hard to say what the Four Seasons sect and Heartless Island are thinking, but they must be interested in something on Great Elder Lin. The world of cultivators is full of schemes and deceit. I think that this so-called marriage can't be taken seriously, no matter how serious it is," Lin Feng said. Murong Baichuan said, "How do you plan on replying to them? If you refuse directly, you'll offend all three powers." Lin Feng said, "Then I won't reply. I plan on leaving tonight and going to the central continent to see the four ancestors." "That's fine. In that case, let's go to the teleportation plaza," Murong Baichuan said. Lin Feng nodded and said, "I won't go see Sun Yi. Let her rest for the night. Tomorrow, I'll have to trouble you to inform Sun Yi and let her leave on her own." "All right, I'll inform her first thing in the morning." Wang Changming nodded. Lin Feng didn't stop and went straight to the teleportation portal. However, just as he was about to leave, Sun Yi walked out of the shadows and giggled. "Why aren't you sleeping? Where are you going?" Lin Feng rolled his eyes and said, "Don't appear out of nowhere like a ghost, okay? I'm going to drink with girls now. Do you want to come with me?" Sun Yi curled her lips and said, "Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. I'm guessing that you want to run, right? Now that you think about it, it makes sense. Today, three major powers have come to propose marriage, so everyone will know about it. No matter which power you agree to, you will offend the other two. If you don't agree to any of them, you will offend all three. So, the best way is to leave tonight. Am I right?" Lin Feng said, "It's said that women with big breasts have no brains. I used to believe that, but today, I feel that it's pure nonsense." As Lin Feng spoke, he looked at Sun Yi's twin peaks. He suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. It looked like a mountain range from one side and a mountain range from the other. "Stinking hooligan." Sun Yi spat at Lin Feng and used her hands to protect her twin peaks. Lin Feng looked away and said, "Since you know that I'm going to leave, let's part ways here. From now on, you're free, and I don't need you to be my personal maidservant. We'll meet again if fate wills it." Sun Yi harumphed and said, "I, Sun Yi, have always kept my word. Since I agreed to be your maidservant for 3 months, I'll definitely be your maidservant for 3 months. So, no matter where you go during these 3 months, I'll be by your side." Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at Sun Yi, sizing up her voluptuous body and smiling as he said, "Tell me honestly, are you clinging to me? Do you want to become my woman? I know that my biggest weakness is that I'm too manly, so it's normal for you to want to become my woman. However, I'm not interested in you." Sun Yi kicked Lin Feng's calf, revealing her shrewish personality. She sneered and said, "You think I'd like you? Stop daydreaming." Sun Yi was born to be a tigress. Lin Feng saw that he couldn't get rid of Sun Yi and felt quite helpless. He could only say, "Then come with me." Sun Yi harumphed twice. Lin Feng found Wang Changming and told him that there was no need to inform Sun Yi tomorrow, as she would be leaving with him. Afterwards, Lin Feng and Sun Yi went to the teleportation plaza together. However, after arriving, Lin Feng discovered that there were cultivators from the Endless Fire Nation, Heartless Island, and the Four Seasons sect. These three powers seemed to have predicted that Lin Feng would run away, so they were guarding the teleportation formation. It seems like they're really determined to let you choose one of the three beauties. Since that's the case, just pick one. In any case, from what I've seen, whether it's Hualai, Miao Yuling, or Su Yibing, they're all still virgins. As for you, you've been with who knows how many women. You won't lose out if you choose one." Sun Yi's tone was ambiguous. Lin Feng said, "I'd rather choose you than them." With such a shrewish personality, it must be very tasty when you do it. Then we'll find a time to try it out and we'll know. I'm just afraid that I'll accidentally bite off something on your body. Hee hee. Sun Yi suddenly giggled and glanced at Lin Feng's private parts. Lin Feng immediately felt a chill between his legs. Sun Yi was too valiant. In the end, Lin Feng decided not to use the teleportation formation in the first cultivator district. He and Sun Yi flew towards the second cultivator district. It would take them about 10 days to reach the second cultivator district. On a night 3 days later, Lin Feng and Sun Yi rested on an island. A bonfire burned fiercely, and drops of golden oil dripped from the barbecued meat on top. As the oil dripped into the fire, sizzling sounds could be heard. A fragrant aroma filled the air. Sun Yi stared at the barbecued meat with wide eyes, almost drooling. Lin Feng discovered that Sun Yi was rather cute when she was quiet. Someone's coming from the distance. Suddenly, Lin Feng frowned and looked towards the sky. Although they were very far away, he could still feel faint energy fluctuations. Are they friends or foes? Sun Yi immediately became excited. Clearly, she hoped that the newcomers were her enemies. Sun Yi seemed to have a warlike gene flowing in her bones. Lin Feng guessed that he would never forget the scene of her slapping the Rebirth Realm expert Jin Zheng Dao to death. We'll find out soon, Lin Feng said. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 figures flew over quickly and landed on the ground. From a ball of fire, a peerlessly enchanting beauty with a hot figure and flaming red lips walked out. A woman walked out of the mist, as gentle as water. She was like a fairy who had walked out of a painting. A woman walked out of the moonlight. She was as cold as the moon and as beautiful as a fairy from the Moon Palace. Chapter 1204. Hua Liar, Miao Yuling, Su Yibing. Surprisingly, those 3 women had found him. When Lin Feng saw those 3 women, he felt helpless. Why did you chase after me? Do you desire a man that much? Sun Yi curled her lips and looked at the 3 women, her voice filled with ridicule. Hua Liar laughed and said, I heard that Lin Gongzi has a personal maid. So it's you? I didn't think that you would come up with such a method to get close to Lin Gongzi. Could it be that you want to give yourself to Lin Gongzi as well? Hua Liar was clearly an eloquent person. She was actually mocking Sun Yi. Clearly, Sun Yi was acquainted with Hua Liar, Miao Yuling, and Su Yibing. If 3 women made a scene, wouldn't 4 women make a pot of porridge? While only Sun Yi and Hua Liar were involved in the battle, Lin Feng felt that he had to stop them from arguing. Otherwise, he would be the one to suffer. Stop. Stop arguing. If you argue, then hurry up and think as far away as you can. Lin Feng said. Humph. Sun Yi and Hua Liar snorted when they saw each other's unsightly expressions. Lin Feng looked at Hua Liar, Miao Yuling, and Su Yibing and asked, May I know why you 3 beauties have chased after me? Hua Liar asked. Everyone knows that we proposed a marriage to you, but you snuck away. What kind of situation do you think we're in? Miao Yuling said, Could it be that Lin Gongzi doesn't like us? Su Yibing said, Lin Gongzi's sudden departure is too heartbreaking. Lin Feng said, The 3 of you are heavenly goddesses. I'm just worried that I'm not worthy of you. Hua Liar curled his lips. Don't try to fool us with such words. Who doesn't know that your talent is unparalleled? You'll definitely have shocking accomplishments in the future. Is there a woman on the Martial Heaven continent that you aren't worthy of? Lin Feng said helplessly, All right. I admit that I'm very outstanding, and all of you are very charming. However, I already have a confidant, so if you want to blame someone, you can only blame us for not knowing each other earlier. So what if she's my confidant? Since she's not your wife, feelings can be nurtured. Now, we need you to make a choice, Hua Liar said. Save it. Lin Feng isn't interested in you because she already chose me. Sun Yi looked at Hua Liar, Miao Yuling, and Su Yibing with some jealousy. She walked forward and placed Lin Feng's right hand on her waist. Sun Yi's charming body snuggled into Lin Feng's embrace with a lovey-dovey look. Come on, Sun Yi. What man would fancy you? Su Yibing curled her lips. Actually, Sun Yi is also very beautiful. However, with her personality, I'm afraid no one would dare to marry her. Miao Yuling immediately said. Hua Lai continued. The scariest thing is that some people are still complacent and self-righteous. Sun Yi's personality was quite shrewish, so when she heard the three of them mocking her, she was furious. He was so angry that he almost exploded. She cried, "Why can't someone like me? Lin Feng likes me a lot. We've already done it several times." Lin Feng was speechless. He wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He hurriedly pulled Sun Yi back. With Sun Yi's valiant personality, she might say something even more shocking. Who are you trying to fool? It's obvious that she hasn't been developed yet. Do you think we're blind? Hua Lai curled his lips. An outsider would never be able to imagine four goddesses fighting over a single man. However, Lin Feng, who was at the center of the storm, felt a headache coming on. He said, "Stop arguing. Marriage has always been decided by the parents. As for who I'll marry, we'll talk about that after I meet my parents." That makes sense. When will you bring us to meet your parents? Sun Yi asked. Lin Feng almost fell to the ground. Miao Yuling said, I'm confident that my future parents will like me. Hua Lai giggled and said, You make it sound like no one else is as confident as you. Su Yibing said, Let's go now. Lin Feng was speechless at these four women. He had just casually come up with a reasonable excuse. However, these four women had actually taken it seriously. Lin Feng wanted to cry but had no tears. Lin Feng said, You won't be able to see my parents for now. Why? The four women asked at the same time. I'm in seclusion. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. He couldn't tell them who his parents were, could he? If he told them, they would probably be scared half to death, and then they would completely cling to him. Hua Lai said, Since that's the case, we'll put this matter aside for now. However, there's another matter that we came to find you for. What is it? Lin Feng asked curiously. Miao Yuling said, We accidentally obtained a map of an island called Nightmare Island. It was the training ground of Great Dream Evil Emperor during the Ancient Era. Great Dream Evil Emperor was a famous evil emperor during the Ancient Era, and he participated in the Great Battle at the end of the Ancient Era. We know that you're the successor of the Celestial Master Path, and you have a thorough understanding of formations. If you join us, it'll be much safer. Nightmare Island? Great Dream Evil Emperor? Lin Feng frowned slightly and said, The training ground of the Evil Emperor must have many strange places. I don't think we should explore it. It's not that we shouldn't explore it, but you're worried that we'll force you to get married again, right? Well, I looked at Lin Feng with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. She was very smart and could guess what Lin Feng was thinking. Lin Feng nodded and said, There are many reasons, and the reason you mentioned can only be considered one of them. Su Yibing said, Don't worry, we won't force you to get married during this time. Also, if you spend some time with us, we might be able to help you decide who to choose in the end. Lin Feng said, All right, since you've agreed. I hope that you won't bring up the matter of marriage again during this time. We'll rest for the night, and tomorrow we'll head to Nightmare Island. The four women nodded. Everyone ate some roasted meat and found a place to rest. The night passed peacefully. The next day, they got up and headed to the second cultivator gathering area. Nightmare Island was located in a mysterious area between the South Sea and the East Sea. It was a very dangerous place, so they had to prepare some necessities. Furthermore, they had to use a teleportation formation to go to such a distant place. 7 days later, the five of them arrived at the second cultivator gathering area. As soon as they came out of the teleportation portal, Lin Feng sensed an ice-cold deadly qi which enveloped him. Chapter 1205. Lin Feng looked over and saw an old acquaintance, Xuezongxian. He had also come out of another teleportation formation. Apart from Xuezongxian, there were a dozen other cultivators. They were clearly Xuezongxian's companions. The group walked over. Xuezongxian smiled and said, Yibing, I didn't expect to see you here. Where are you going? I have something to do, Su Yibing said indifferently. She was cold and detached. She was trying to distance herself from Xuezongxian. She didn't want Lin Feng to misunderstand her. Xuezongxian could also sense this, so his expression slightly darkened. Lin Feng said with a smile, Isn't this Brother Shui? I remember that Brother Shui was pursuing Feng Yaorao not long ago. Why are you pursuing Fairy Su now? I really admire Brother Shui's ability to change his mind at the slightest change. Shui Zongxian's expression turned ugly. He hadn't been able to pursue Su Yibing in the first place. Now that Lin Feng had exposed him, he probably didn't have a chance anymore. Shui Zongxian already wanted to kill Lin Feng. He wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng into pieces to vent his anger. However, as a top genius of the heaven-devouring demonic Toad clan, Shui Zongxian's temperament was extraordinary. He suppressed his anger and murderous intent and said with a fake smile, "A fair and graceful woman is a good match for a gentleman." What's wrong with that? However, from what I know, Brother Lin has a lot of women. Lin Feng said indifferently, "It seems like Brother Shui knows a lot about me. So what if I have a few women? Even Fairy Su doesn't mind. So why are you, a person who has nothing to do with me, worrying about this? You're really worried about nothing." Shui Zongxian's expression darkened when he heard Lin Feng's mockery. He turned to look at Su Yibing and said, "Yibing, I heard that Passionless Island wants you to marry this person. You must think twice before you act. He's not a good person." Lin Feng sneered. "Whether or not I'm a good person, whether or not I'm marrying Fairy Su, that's a private matter between me and Fairy Su. Who do you think you are? Are you trying to point fingers here? I'm giving you face by calling you Brother Shui. Don't be so shameless." "Brat, how dare you speak to me like that?" Shui Zongxian looked coldly at Lin Feng. "Don't think too highly of yourself. The world will spin without anyone." Lin Feng curled his lips and sneered. Some people think that they can act so presumptuously just because they have a little bit of strength. If we don't teach them a lesson, won't the order of the cultivators in the world be toppled in the future? Shui Zongxian stepped forward and looked coldly at Lin Feng. "If you have the guts, go to the arena in the Central Plaza in 3 days. I'll be waiting for you there. If you want to be a coward, you can choose to leave." Shui Zongxian is challenging Lin Feng. The surrounding cultivators had already recognized Shui Zongxian and Lin Feng. Now that they saw Shui Zongxian challenge Lin Feng, they immediately cried out in surprise. One was a sovereign who had been famous for a long time. The other was a sovereign who had just become a sovereign. If the two of them were to fight, it would definitely be an intense fight. It was enough to attract the attention of countless people. That day outside the territory of the demons, you and the evil dragon teamed up to ambush me. It's time to settle this debt. Wash your neck. I'll kill you in 3 days. Lin Feng was extremely domineering as he looked coldly at Shui Zongxian. Everyone was shocked. They never thought that Lin Feng and Shui Zongxian would have such a grudge. Shui Zongxian sneered. "It's you who should prepare a coffin for yourself." Shui Zongxian and the others quickly left. Lin Feng and the other 4 didn't stop either. They walked towards the center of the island. Su Yibing said, 10 years ago, Shui Zongxian shone brilliantly in the battle of geniuses and became a supreme genius. This time, it's said that he obtained a great opportunity in the battle of geniuses. Compared to 10 years ago, he's probably even more terrifying. Su Yibing didn't try to persuade Lin Feng to give up on the battle. However, she did try to persuade Lin Feng not to fight to the death with Shui Zongxian. Shui Zongxian was too terrifying. However, Su Yibing was meticulous. She was afraid that if she tried to persuade Lin Feng directly, it would make Lin Feng unhappy. Therefore, she beat around the bush. "You can only die standing. You won't live kneeling. I support you." Sun Yi looked excited. She wanted to fight against Shui Zongxian in Lin Feng's stead. Lin Feng said, "As I said before, I want to settle my grudge with Shui Zongxian. Now is the best time to do so." Su Yibing nodded and didn't say anything else. Every supreme being had their own dignity. These sovereigns usually acted according to their own will. It was very difficult for others to change their minds. Lin Feng and the other 4 found a high-end inn to stay in. The environment was elegant, and there were many courtyards. The news that Lin Feng was going to fight to the death with Shui Zongxian quickly spread in the second cultivator district. Naturally, this battle would attract a lot of attention. Whether it was Lin Feng or Shui Zongxian, they were both famous figures in the younger generation. Very few sovereigns like them would fight to the death in a battle to the death. Therefore, the battle between Lin Feng and Shui Zongxian caused a huge commotion. The news quickly spread from the second cultivator district to all parts of the East Sea. Many influential groups heard the news and rushed over by teleportation formations. After Lin Feng bought the materials he needed for the deployment spell, he started to adjust his state of mind. Shuezongxian was definitely a terrifying existence. How could a sovereign from 10 years ago be a simple person? The most important thing was that Shuezongxian had a 100% pure bloodline. Lin Feng only had 30% of his undying godly blood now. It was said that Shuezongxian had experienced thousands of battles, but he had only activated his 100% pure bloodline 3 times. The first time, he had killed a cultivator who was 5 levels higher than him. The second time, he had killed a cultivator who was 8 levels higher than him. The third time, he had killed a cultivator who was 12 levels higher than him. This meant that Shuezongxian's control over his pure bloodline was getting stronger and stronger. Therefore, Shuezongxian was extremely terrifying. Many people outside were already discussing whether Lin Feng would become the 4th expert that Shuezongxian had killed after activating his pure bloodline. Of course, there were also many people who thought that Lin Feng would obtain the final victory in this battle. This was because Lin Feng had stepped on Murong Tianxin and had unparalleled talent. Although he had cultivated for a shorter time than Shuezongxian, the sacred art that Lin Feng had grasped was very terrifying. Moreover, Lin Feng was the successor of the Celestial Master Taoist. This was Lin Feng's trump card. Just as the outside world was discussing this battle, Sun Yi came to Lin Feng's room. She knocked on the door and said, "Lin Feng, someone is looking for you. You definitely won't be able to guess who this person is." Lin Feng was sitting cross-legged in his room. His eyes were closed and he opened his eyes. Chapter 1206. Who is it? Lin Feng opened the door and walked out. Sun Yi smiled and said, "You'll know when you get there." When Lin Feng arrived in the living room, he saw a tall and sturdy figure. He couldn't help but feel happy and quicken his steps. "Junior Lin Feng." "Greetings, Senior." The cultivator who had come to visit Lin Feng was the savage man who had saved Lin Feng and Sun Yi from the heavenly Pong King. "Haha, I've heard Nailin Jing mention you more than once. It seems like he wasn't wrong. In just a few years, your name has already shaken the 3,000 continents. You even trampled on that hypocritical heavenly god Murong. Just thinking about it makes me want to laugh out loud." The savage cultivator said with a laugh. When he heard Nailin Jing's name, Lin Feng's spirits rose. Back when his cultivation was still very low, he had met Nailin Jing in northern Desolate City. Nailin Jing was one of the 8 great devil cultivators on the Tianwu continent. He was a famous devil. However, after interacting with Nailin Jing, Lin Feng felt that Nailin Jing was forthright and full of righteousness. He was completely different from what the outside world had heard. The reason why Nailin Jing was called the Great Devil was because he cultivated the Devil Dao's cultivation method and divine ability. However, while people were divided into good and evil, techniques and divine abilities shouldn't be divided into good and evil. Since then, Lin Feng's view of the devil cultivators had changed greatly. It didn't mean that the devil cultivators were evil. Among the righteous cultivators, there were countless sanctimonious villains. Among the devil cultivators, Nailin Jing, Guan Guan, Sun Yi, these people were all very kind. When the savage cultivator in front of him mentioned Nailin Jing, Lin Feng finally understood why this savage cultivator didn't hesitate to offend someone as terrifying as the heavenly Pong King to save him. There was no love without reason in this world, and there was no hatred without reason. This savage was probably Nailin Jing's friend. He also knew about Lu Yun's relationship with Nailin Jing, which was why he had saved him. Lin Feng asked, "Senior, are you friends with Senior Nailin Jing?" "I am Demon Monarch Lanling. Have you heard of me before?" The savage cultivator said with a smile. Lin Feng was shocked. It was actually this supreme figure. Lin Feng had naturally heard of Demon Monarch Lanling, who was ranked 3rd among the 8 great loose cultivators of the demonic Dao. "So it's Senior Lanling Demon Monarch. I've heard Senior Nailin Jing mention you before. Senior Nailin Jing told me that he's sworn brothers with Senior Lanling Demon Monarch and Senior Bai Yu." Lin Feng said, "Haha, that's right. 3,000 years ago, I met Nailin Jing and Bai Yu when we were training outside. At that time, We got along well and became sworn brothers. Demon Lord Lan Ling laughed out loud, his voice rumbling like thunder. Senior, are you from the same era as Heavenly God Morong? Lin Feng's heart moved, and he couldn't help but ask. At the mention of Heavenly God Morong, Demon Monarch Lanling's face revealed a sinister expression. In the past, I went out with this person to train, but this person is not a good person. Demon Monarch Lanling clearly didn't want to talk about Heavenly God Morong. However, Lin Feng could guess that Heavenly God Morong must have done something that Demon Monarch Lanling disdained. Otherwise, Demon Monarch Lanling wouldn't have called Heavenly God Morong a despicable person. In fact, this happened to coincide with Lin Feng's guess. When he left the battlefield of geniuses, Heavenly God Morong had attacked Sacred Lord Peafowl. He said that he wasn't targeting Lin Feng, but merely wanted to exchange a few moves with Sacred Lord Peafowl. In reality, Sacred Lord Peafowl had been delayed by Heavenly God Morong, and the other Rebirth Realm cultivators could have killed Lin Feng. If King Zhanpeng hadn't appeared, Lin Feng might have really died. When Sacred Lord Peafowl and King Zhanpeng had joined forces to deal with the 7 Rebirth Realm cultivators, Heavenly God Morong had simply watched from the sidelines. It was as if the battle had nothing to do with him. It was obvious that Heavenly God Morong was a despicable person. Even the 7 great Rebirth Realm cultivators had been tricked by him unknowingly. I haven't seen Senior Nailin Jing for many years. How has Senior Nailin Jing been all these years? Asked Lin Feng. Nailin Jing is doing well. He was still in the overseas world half a year ago, but he's left now, said Demon Monarch Lan Ling. That's a pity. I won't be able to meet Senior Nailin Jing, said Lin Feng. There'll be plenty of time in the future. We'll meet again sooner or later. Demon Monarch Lanling smiled and said, I heard that you're going to have a death match with Shuezong Xian of the Heaven-Devouring Demonic Toad Clan in a few days? Yes. Lin Feng nodded. I've seen Shuezong Xian fight before. He's not simple. You have to be careful, said Demon Monarch Lanling. I won't dare be careless, said Lin Feng. Demon Monarch Lanling continued, Tonight, I'll bring you to an underground black market. I'm sure you've never been there before, right? An underground black market? Lin Feng was surprised. Demon Monarch Lanling nodded. You can find things you can't find in the outside world. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. He asked, Senior, do you know about alchemists? Said Demon Monarch Lanling. Of course. These people aren't easy to deal with. Lin Feng asked, Is there an alchemist in the underground black market? Demon Monarch Lanling nodded. Indeed, there's an old man with a strange temper in the underground black market. Are you planning to buy something from an alchemist? Lin Feng said, Yes, I'm planning to do that. I can take you to visit that old man, but whether or not you can buy what you want will depend on your luck, said Lin Feng. Said Demon Monarch Lanling. Of course I'm aware of that. Lin Feng nodded. At night, Lin Feng and Demon Monarch Lanling went out together. They headed to the underground black market. The entrance to the underground black market was in a courtyard in the northeast. One had to take a teleportation formation to reach the underground black market. Clearly, the underground black market was a special small space. There are people from all walks of life in the underground black market, so you have to be on guard against them at all times. Reminded Demon Monarch Lanling. Lin Feng nodded and took a teleportation formation with Demon Monarch Lanling. With a flash of light, they appeared in a dark space. Around them was a market. The simple and messy streets were filled with hurried cultivators. After arriving here, Lin Feng felt his hair stand on end. He could sense many terrifying auras. Demon Monarch Lanling, long time no see. People kept coming over to greet Demon Monarch Lanling. Clearly, Demon Monarch Lanling was a regular here. Demon Monarch Lanling nodded to greet many people. At that moment, a group of 2 cultivators came over. One of them was the Supreme Elder of the Heaven-Devouring Demonic Toad Clan, Shueluan Fa. The other was Tian Pongking. Tian Pongking was accompanied by Jin Shengfei. Shueluan Fa was accompanied by Shuezong Xian. Author's note: I'm practicing in the afternoon, so I'll update later. However, today's update will still be 7 p.m. There's a double monthly ticket promotion. Those who have monthly tickets can vote. Voting now is equivalent to 2 tickets. Old Man 2 thanks everyone. Chapter 1207. Actually, the people from the Divine Rock Island and the people from the heaven-devouring Demon Toad clan did not come together. They only met by chance in the underground black market. After a hypocritical exchange, they saw Demon Lord Lan Ling and Lin Feng entering the underground black market. The 2 groups of people walked over. Isn't this Demon Lord Lan Ling? I heard that you fought with Heavenly Rock King some time ago. At that time, it attracted many cultivators to watch. It's a pity that I didn't get to see the battle between the top experts. Shui Luanfa looked at Demon Lord Lan Ling with a fake smile. This old man was obviously very sinister. Now that he mentioned the battle between Demon Lord Lan Ling and Heavenly Rock King, wouldn't he be opening up the scar in Heavenly Rock King's heart? The news of Heavenly Rock King chasing after Lin Feng and Sun Yi had already spread. He actually did not kill the 2 of them and let them escape. Although it was because of Demon Lord Lan Ling, it was still embarrassing enough. After all, before Demon Lord Lan Ling appeared, Heavenly Rock King had already been chasing after them for a long time. Shui Luanfa once again revealed this matter. It would definitely make Heavenly Rock King hate Demon Lord Lan Ling even more. As for whether Heavenly Rock King would hate him because of this, Shui Luanfa did not care at all. In any case, their heaven-devouring Demon Toad clan and Divine Rock Island were only acquaintances. There was no conflict of interest. So what if Heavenly Rock King hated him? He couldn't do anything to him. I was wondering who it was. It's actually Senior Shui Luanfa. You're already so old. Why aren't you cultivating in your clan? Why are you running around? If you hurt your arms or legs, wouldn't your heaven-devouring Demon Toad clan be worried? Demon Lord Lan Ling said with a faint smile. Although Demon Lord Lan Ling looked incomparably rough, his ability to insult others was not lower than his cultivation. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Shui Luanfa laughed strangely and said, "Thank you for your concern, Demon Lord Lan Ling. Although I'm old, I can still come out and walk around. However, as an old senior, I need to remind Demon Lord Lan Ling of something." This Shui Luanfa was actually taking advantage of his seniority. Demon Lord Lan Ling asked, "Senior Shui, what do you want to say?" "I'm listening." "Don't meddle in things you shouldn't meddle in things that you shouldn't meddle in things." Shui Luanfa, a Demon Lord Lan Ling Demon Monarch Lan Ling smiled and said, "Thank you for your teachings, Senior Shui. I will remember them in my heart. However, I have something to say to Senior Shui." When Shui Luanfa saw Devil Monarch Lan Ling calling him Senior Shui, he thought that Devil Monarch Lan Ling respected him very much. He nodded his head arrogantly and said, "Tell me about it." Demon Monarch Lan Ling said, "If others give you some face, you can still flaunt your seniority. However, if they don't give you any face and you flaunt your seniority, they will probably treat old Senior Shui's words like a fart." Ha ha ha. Demon Lord Shui. Shui use Shueling Shui's, S-Lords. SSS Shui. S-U. Shui Luanfa's face was extremely gloomy, and his eyes were filled with coldness. Demon Lord Lan Ling said with a smile, "Senior Shui, don't be angry. You're already so old. What if you hurt your body? If something happens to you, won't your heaven-devouring demonic toad clan come after me? I can't be bothered to talk to someone who doesn't know his place." Shui Luanfa said coldly. Lin Feng was speechless when he heard Shui Luanfa's words. Shui Luanfa was taking advantage of his age to point fingers at Demon Lord Lan Ling. In the world of cultivators, strength was everything, not age. Furthermore, Demon Lord Lan Ling's strength was unfathomable. Shui Luanfa might not even be a match for Demon Lord Lan Ling, but Shui Luanfa still dared to act so high and mighty. He was too full of himself. It would be strange if Demon Lord Lan Ling treated him nicely. "Let's go," Shui Luanfa said with a gloomy expression. Shui Zongxian looked at Lin Feng and sneered. "I didn't expect you to still be in the mood to come to the black market. I thought you were working hard on your cultivation. It seems like you've given up. But then again, no matter how hard you try, you'll still die in my hands," said Lin Feng. "It's too early to talk big. The battle hasn't even started yet. We don't know who will be the winner yet." Shui Zongxian curled his lips and said disdainfully, "You think I'm an unknown because you still have the illusion that you can defeat me. You don't know how strong I am. I can tell you without hesitation that I can crush you like an ant. You may think that I'm bragging, but it doesn't matter. When we fight, you'll know that everything I said is true. At that time, you'll know how big the gap between you and me is." After saying that, Shui Zongxian started walking away. Tian Pongqing, Jin Shengfei, and the others sneered and looked at Lin Feng as if they were looking at a dead man. Then, they left as well. Shui Zongxian might be arrogant, but he definitely has the ability to be arrogant. It seems like he's gained something from the battle. Demon Lord Lanling said. Lin Feng nodded and said, "He might have 1,000 tricks up his sleeve, but I have my ways to deal with him. Senior, just wait and see." Demon Lord Lanling nodded and didn't say anything else. Instead, he walked with Lin Feng into the depths of the black market. They arrived at a small courtyard in the northwest corner of the black market. Demon Lord Lanling smiled and said, "Old ghost, I'm here to see you. An old friend is here. Aren't you going to come out and welcome him?" At that moment, a gloomy voice came from the courtyard. "We know each other, but we're not friends. Don't even think about getting close to me." Demon Lord Lanling said, "If we're not friends, then we're not friends. I'm here today because I brought a young friend with me. He has something to discuss with you." Not interested. A strange, gloomy laughter came from the courtyard. Following that, twisted runes interweaved and enveloped the entire courtyard. Obviously, the old ghost inside didn't want to see Lin Feng, nor did he want to welcome Demon Lord Lanling. "Old ghost, this great array of yours is specially made to guard against me, right?" Demon Lord Lanling couldn't help but roll his eyes. He gave Lin Feng a look. Demon Lord Lanling knew about Lin Feng's level as a spirit array master. "It's good that you know. Hurry up and scram. Don't bother me," the old ghost shouted. When Lin Feng saw Demon King Lanling give him a meaningful glance, he walked forwards. "Senior's great array is really exquisite, but it can't stop this junior." Lin Feng stepped into the great array, and the runes that protected the entire courtyard began to quiet down. In the blink of an eye, the entire great array lost all its attacking power. It was as if a lively person had suddenly lost all his strength and collapsed to the ground, unable to move. "Ha ha ha ha, old ghost, your spirit array master level is really half-baked. You can't stop us." Demon Lord Lanling laughed out loud and followed Lin Feng into the courtyard. When the two of them entered the dilapidated courtyard, the runes that had lost all their power instantly recovered, emitting a terrifying aura. The runes intertwined together, causing the surrounding void to distort. Chapter 1208. All sorts of materials were piled up in the courtyard. Lin Feng even saw a piece of Daluo mystical demonic iron, which was a material used to forge divine tools. If it was outside, it would definitely attract countless people to fight over it. But now, it was thrown in the courtyard like trash. It really made people speechless. Suddenly, Lin Feng sensed a gloomy aura enveloping him from the left. He turned around and his hair stood on end. An old man had appeared on his left without him noticing. The old man was very short, only around 1.2 to 1.3 meters tall. He was as thin as a stick, and his body emitted a dense aura of death. His gloomy eyes flickered with a green light that resembled will-o'-the-wisps. He looked like a mummy that had crawled out of a grave. Clearly, this old man was the alchemist called Old Ghost that Demon Monarch Lanling had mentioned. "Kid, you actually know how to crack formations? Are you a descendant of the Celestial Master Path?" Old Ghost looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy gaze. Lin Feng nodded. "That's right. I'm the 37th descendant of the Celestial Master Path." The old ghost laughed strangely and said, "Don't be so sure. From what I know, there are a total of 36 figures on the Celestial Master's stone scripture, and these 36 people have all reached the Celestial Master level. Only then will the stone scripture have a mark. As for you, you're not a Celestial Master yet. Since ancient times, there have been many people like you. Even though they obtained the inheritance of the Celestial Master Path, they died before reaching the Celestial Master Path. Only when you become a true Celestial Master will you be qualified to say that you're the 37th descendant of the Celestial Master Path, Or you can say that you're the 37th sect leader of the Celestial Master Path. And if I'm not wrong, your projection has already been recorded by the Stone Scripture. If you can become a Celestial Master before you die, the Stone Scripture's memory of you won't disappear. Just like the 36 Celestial Masters, you'll be engraved in it forever. If you don't break through to the Celestial Master Path before you die, the Stone Scripture's memory of you will disappear without a trace. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat, and he could not help but ask, Senior, you seem to be quite familiar with our Celestial Master lineage? Old Ghost laughed strangely and said, I can't say that I'm familiar with him, but I know a thing or two about him. Demon Monarch Lan Ling, the brat you brought today is quite interesting. I've decided to discuss a deal with him. You should know my rules. The Lanling Devil Monarch nodded. He then looked at Lin Feng and said, You stay here and discuss with the old fogey. I will go out and buy some things. Obviously, Old Ghost didn't want a third party to be present when he was negotiating with others. All right, I'll look for you after the transaction is complete, Lin Feng said. Demon Monarch Lan Ling said, Follow the main road and head south. You'll find me at the southernmost 100 Treasures Pavilion. Demon Monarch Lan Ling left after giving some instructions. Old Ghost said, We can talk about the deal now. Why have you come looking for me? Lin Feng said, I want to buy some Heavenly God Elixir. Senior, do you have it? Heavenly God Elixir requires a Heavenly God's blood to refine. I did have some a few years ago, but they were all sold. Old Ghost said. Lin Feng felt a sense of regret. He asked, Senior, do you have any way to refine more Heavenly God Elixir? If you really want it, you'll have to provide the ingredients yourself. Old Ghost said. Lin Feng said helplessly, I'm afraid it'll be very difficult to find a Heavenly God's blood. Lin Feng felt rather helpless. It seemed that he wouldn't be able to get any more Heavenly God Elixir. Old Ghost suddenly said, Although you don't have a Heavenly God's blood, you have something even more precious. What is it? Lin Feng asked curiously. Heavenly God's origin energy. Old Ghost laughed strangely. The God's origin energy in your body should have just reached the Heavenly God level. Using it to refine Heavenly God Elixir will be even more effective. However, God's origin energy is much more precious than a Heavenly God's blood. Using it to refine Heavenly God Elixir would be a waste. Lin Feng could use God's origin energy to increase the purity of his bloodline. However, Lin Feng didn't mind giving up God's origin energy for the sake of the Heavenly God Elixir. He could look for other treasures to increase the purity of his bloodline in the future. This was probably his only chance to refine Heavenly God Elixir. Given Old Ghost's strange temper, if he didn't refine it this time, he might not do it the next time. Moreover, finding a Heavenly God's blood was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lin Feng desperately needed the Heavenly God Elixir. Lin Feng nodded. Since God's origin energy can be used to refine Heavenly God Elixir, I'll use it. Old Ghost replied, You're quite willing. Lin Feng replied, Even if I'm unwilling, I still have to be willing. The Heavenly God Elixir is too important to me. What kind of reward does Senior want? Old Ghost replied, I'll take 70% of your God's origin energy, and I'll refine the remaining 30% into Heavenly God Elixir. Lin Feng's mouth twitched violently. This Old Ghost was too greedy. He actually wanted to take 70% of his God's origin energy. However, if he wanted to refine the Heavenly God Elixir, he would have to ask Old Ghost for help. Even if he knew that he had been cheated, he could only accept it. Lin Feng nodded. No problem. Here's all of my God's origin energy. Lin Feng took out a ball of compressed energy. It was formed from condensed God's origin energy. Old Ghost put away the ball of energy. Lin Feng asked, How long will it take to refine the Heavenly God Elixir? About 10 hours. This is your first time in the black market, right? You can take a stroll around the black market. If you have a good eye, you'll be able to find quite a few good things there. Lin Feng replied, All right. When the time comes, I'll come with Senior Lan Ling to get it. I'll take my leave now. Lin Feng left the courtyard and went to the main street. He followed the main street and headed south to find Lan Ling fate. An unknown fate. Do you want to know your own fate? Suddenly, an ethereal voice echoed in Lin Feng's mind. He stopped and frowned. Where was this voice coming from? I've already seen through your fate. Your father, your mother, your father's clan, your mother's clan, and yourself. You are a descendant of the sinner's blood. Come, I'll reveal all your secrets. The voice rang out again. A descendant of the sinner's blood? You're trying to mislead the public with your lies. Lin Feng's expression sank. I'm not trying to mislead the public with my lies. I can see through everything. You really do have the sinner's blood. The voice was filled with mystery. The sinner's blood? My bloodline is the strongest bloodline. But you say it's the sinner's blood? I'd like to see who you are. How dare you spout such nonsense in front of me? Lin Feng looked indifferent. Come, the path on the left. Chapter 1209. Lin Feng walked towards a small path on the left. The path was dirty and messy, and there were shops on both sides. The people here were dirty and smelly, and they gradually surrounded Lin Feng. The fifth shop on the left, the mysterious voice said again. Lin Feng sped up and entered the fifth shop before the people around him could surround him. Inside the shop, there were all kinds of shelves in a disorderly manner. There was a dazzling array of things on the shelves. Huh, what kind of bone is this? Lin Feng's attention was immediately attracted by a bone palm. There was a bone palm on the shelf. It was purplish-black, and it was the first time Lin Feng had seen such a bone palm. Lin Feng looked closer and found that there were many runes on the bone palm, which surprised him. Could it be a treasure bone? Some powerful cultivators or beasts would have a treasure bone imprinted in their bodies, and the runes on the treasure bone would record some powerful spells. Lin Feng looked at the runes on the bone palm, but they were not connected. He stretched out his hand and opened the fingers, continuing to look at the runes until he finished reading the contents of the first finger. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. He had finally connected a part of the contents. The runes on the bone palm seemed to record some powerful spell. Lin Feng guessed that it was a palm technique. Just as Lin Feng was about to open the 5 palms, a voice came from behind him. Suddenly, Kacha, Kacha, Kacha. That hand grabbed Lin Feng's wrist. Then, a powerful force surged out of the bone palm, and it seemed to want to break Lin Feng's wrist. The more Lin Feng struggled, the tighter the bone palm grabbed him. The bone palm seemed to have a life of its own. It had just fallen asleep, but now it had awakened. So strange. If you don't let go, I'll burn you with heavenly fire. Lin Feng's left fingertip was surrounded by a flame. The bone palm seemed to have a life of its own. Feeling the terrifying temperature of the heavenly fire, it quickly released Lin Feng's right hand. What an evil bone palm! Lin Feng hurriedly left the position of the bone palm. He didn't dare to touch anything else. This shop gave him a gloomy feeling, which made Lin Feng feel quite uneasy. Is anyone there? Lin Feng asked. But his surroundings were empty, and there was no sound to answer him. Didn't you call me over? Why don't you show yourself? Lin Feng frowned and looked into the depths of the shop. It seemed to lead to the back, but he didn't know where it led to. He cautiously walked into the shop. At this time, a mirror placed in the southwest corner of the shop suddenly flashed with waves of light. Finally, the image in the mirror gradually became clear. A hazy figure appeared in the mirror. I was the one who called you here. The mysterious existence in the mirror said. Lin Feng frowned. Surprisingly, a mirror was talking to him. That was too strange. What kind of mirror was that? What the hell are you? Asked Lin Feng. I am the mirror of the future, said the hazy figure. The mirror of the future? Muttered Lin Feng. The word future had many meanings. Who would dare say that they could see the future? But this mirror was called the mirror of the future? How strange. You said that I'm a descendant of sinner's blood. What do you mean? If you can't explain it, I'll crush you today so that you don't confuse people. Lin Feng looked coldly at the mysterious figure in the mirror. Young man, don't be so hot-tempered, said the mysterious figure in the mirror. Your name is Lin Feng, and your father is Lin Beitian. Your mother. Suddenly, the mysterious figure in the mirror stopped talking. What happened to my mother? Asked Lin Feng nervously. In his heart, he was starting to believe the mirror. Because the mirror had just said his name, his father's name. Lin Feng needed to confirm whether the mirror was really capable or not. Your mother came from that race. It's a cursed race. It's a race that can't be spoken of. I can't speak of it either. If I speak of it, I'll be punished by the heavens," said the mysterious figure in the mirror. After a pause, he continued, "And now, your mother is suppressed in the depths of the starry sky world by the 9 heavens God-burying coffin. I know that you want to save her, but the starry sky world is so big. You don't know where she is suppressed. Even if you become a god in the future and can travel through the starry sky, you won't be able to find her if you don't know where she is." "You know?" asked Lin Feng after taking a deep breath. "Of course I know," said the mysterious figure with a smile. "Since I'm called the Mirror of Future, I can naturally predict everything that will happen in the future, including everything about your parents and their fates. Take a look." As soon as he finished speaking, an image appeared in the mirror. In the depths of the starry sky world, there was a coffin that seemed to have been formed at the beginning of the world. The coffin was so huge that it was like a mountain. It suppressed a woman. It seemed to be the legendary 9 heavens God-burying coffin. "Is that my mother?" Lin Feng felt a sharp pain when he saw the woman suppressed by the 9 heavens God-burying coffin. In the distance, a battle broke out between 2 cultivators. Black fog rolled and attacked a cultivator in white clothes stained with blood. "Father!" Lin Feng cried out when he saw the man. The battle was very fierce. Lin Beitian wanted to save his wife, but he failed. A spear flew out of the black fog. Puff! The pitch-black spear pierced Lin Beitian's chest. "No! Father!" Lin Feng cried out in pain. Even though he knew it was a scene that would only appear in the future, Lin Feng was still in so much pain that he couldn't breathe. Longer. Lin Beitian's face was pale. He walked step by step toward the woman suppressed by the 9 heavens God-burying coffin. "Husband!" The woman cried out in pain. Tears of blood flowed out of her eyes. "I still failed in the end. I can't save you." Lin Beitian smiled bitterly. The black mist surged forward and a huge hand reached out from the black mist and grabbed onto the spear. He lifted Lin Beitian up into the air, and with a shake of his hand, Lin Beitian's mortal body exploded. His body and soul were destroyed. All the images disappeared without a trace, and the mysterious existence once again appeared in the mirror. "This is impossible." Lin Feng's eyes turned red. His breathing became rapid. He couldn't believe what he saw. His father had died so miserably. "Don't doubt me. I am the mirror of the future. I can predict the future. This is your father's fate." The mysterious figure's voice was ethereal. It seemed to have crossed the river of time to reach Lin Feng's ears and resounded in his mind. Chapter 12:10. Lin Feng's face was pale. When he thought of his father's tragic fate, he felt like a knife was being twisted in his heart. Fate? Can fate be reversed? Lin Feng's blood-red eyes looked at the mirror of future. He couldn't watch his father die without doing anything. Lin Feng told himself. He had to change his father's fate. He had to save his father. Even if he had to pay a great price, he wouldn't hesitate. This was what a son should do. This was a responsibility that a son should fulfill. Naturally, there is a way to change your father's fate. However, you should have heard of a saying, "The more you gain, the more you lose." The mysterious existence in the mirror of future spoke. Lin Feng's expression was unsettled. He naturally understood the mirror of future's words. In this world, one's gains were proportional to one's efforts. "What do I need to pay?" Lin Feng asked. "For now, give me all the undying divine blood in your body. I will tell you what to do next." The mirror of future said. Lin Feng suddenly became vigilant. He realized that ever since he entered the shop and saw the mirror of future, everything that had been led by the mirror of future. He had been following the mirror of future's train of thought. Now, the mirror of future needed him to give up his undying divine blood. If it could change his father's fate and save him, Lin Feng wouldn't hesitate to give up his undying divine blood. However, Lin Feng was still somewhat worried. What if he was deceived by the mirror of future? One shouldn't have the heart to harm others. One should always be on guard against others. Thus, after thinking through everything, Lin Feng became much calmer. He was no longer like before, when he had been blinded by the pain and hatred in his heart after seeing his father's tragic death. Don't you want to save your father? Don't you want to save your mother? Do you want to see your father die a tragic death? Do you want to see your mother suffer endless torture? The mirror of future's seductive voice sounded again. Its voice seemed to have a magical power that could make people lose themselves. Lin Feng felt his willpower gradually weakening. An intense desire welled up in his heart. He should do as the mirror of future said. Lin Feng felt that something was wrong. He took out the 9-colored illusory stone and held it in his hand. Gradually, Lin Feng regained his composure. The strong desire in his heart to agree to the mirror of the future quickly disappeared. The illusory stone had more than a dozen abilities. One of them was that it allowed one to look straight into one's heart and not lose oneself. What's wrong with this mirror? He knows everything about me? It seems like I can really foresee the future, but I vaguely feel that something is wrong. However, I don't know what exactly is wrong. Lin Feng frowned. He planned on temporarily leaving to search for Devil Lord Lan Ling. Demon Monarch Lan Ling was a regular customer of the black market, so he might have some understanding of the mirror of future. He could ask Demon Monarch Lan Ling for reference. Lin Feng turned around and quickly walked out of the shop. However, at this moment, a dense crowd of people rushed over. These people emitted a cold and evil aura, especially the dozen people at the back. They blocked Lin Feng's path. Lin Feng felt a strong aura of death from these people. Rebirth Realm. Lin Feng was astonished. There were so many strong cultivators of the rebirth layer in such a small alleyway. How astonishing! Lin Feng quickly took out the regal sword tomb and hugged it to his chest. He was cautious and vigilant. He nervously looked at these people who were constantly surrounding him. These people seemed to want to take his life. Lin Feng felt a suffocating pressure. Lin Feng knew that he was in trouble today. If these people attacked him, he might die here. Lin Feng, what are you doing here? Suddenly, a thunderous shout came from the depths of the alley. Everyone looked over. They saw Devil Lord Lan Ling, who was as strong as a bear. The people who were surrounding Lin Feng hastily dispersed. Devil Lord Lan Ling walked over and asked, "Are you all right?" Lin Feng shook his head. "Fortunately, Senior is here. Otherwise, something might have happened. Senior, why are there so many terrifying people gathered here? This is Fiend Alley. These people sold their souls to the devils. They will never be able to leave Fiend Alley." Devil Lord Lan Ling said. Lin Feng's heart shook as he thought of Huaya. These people in Fiend Alley were very similar to Huaya. Huaya was unable to escape from the cursed cavern. As for the people in Fiend Alley, they would never be able to leave. "Senior, why are you here?" Lin Feng asked. "I'm looking for a very rare poisonous insect. I've searched many places but couldn't find it. So, I came to Fiend Alley. Why are you here?" Devil Lord Lan Ling looked at Lin Feng in confusion. "It's a mirror called the Mirror of Future. It summoned me." Lin Feng said. "What? That mirror appeared again? Where is it?" Devil Lord Lan Ling asked in shock. "It's in this shop." Lin Feng pointed at a shop not far behind him. Devil Lord Lan Ling rushed into the shop. "It's in the southwest corner." Lin Feng followed him in and said. However, the southwest corner of the wall was now empty. "It's missing." Lin Feng frowned. "It was here just a moment ago. It escaped. That fiend mirror is very vigilant." Demon Monarch Lan Ling said with a frown. Devil Lord Lan Ling wanted to suppress the mirror and refine it into his own treasure. "Fiend mirror? Isn't it called the Mirror of Future?" Lin Feng asked. "No, it's the Fiend Mirror. It's a demonic treasure that connects Fiend Alley and the Fiend Realm. The Fiend Mirror is very strange. It can see through the deepest secrets in a person's heart. Everyone knows about it. No wonder. He told me about me." Lin Feng felt a chill down his spine. Fortunately, he had taken out the 9-colored stone in time and held it in his hand. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. "Fortunately, you weren't bewitched by him," Devil Lord Lan Ling said. "What's wrong with this shop?" Lin Feng asked. "This shop is an ominous place. It's cursed. Very few people dare to enter this place. We shouldn't stay here for long," Devil Lord Lan Ling said. Then, he left the shop with Lin Feng. Many people in Fiend Alley looked at Lin Feng gloomily. but they were afraid of Devil Lord Lan Ling, so they didn't attack. Lin Feng followed Devil Lord Lan Ling out of Fiend Alley. After they left, the demon mirror appeared, and the mysterious existence within it evilly smiled as it said, "Who would have thought that that woman would have a son? This is big news, and I'll report this to the higher-ups. I'll definitely be greatly rewarded." Swish, a moment later, the fiend mirror disappeared again. Chapter 12:11. After leaving the demon alley, Lin Feng went to many places with demon monarch Lan Ling. He also bought some rare formation materials that were hard to find in the outside world. This made Lin Feng very happy. When setting up a formation, the stronger the materials used, the stronger the formation would be. About 8 hours later, Lin Feng and demon monarch Lan Ling returned to Old Ghost's place. This is your deity liquid. Because it's made with God's source, its effects are much better than those made with deity's blood. Therefore, I estimate that 5 drops should be enough to activate a divine artifact, 7 drops to activate a quasi-emperor weapon, and 15 drops to activate an emperor weapon. There's a total of 35 drops of deity liquid here. If you want to make more deity liquid in the future, you're welcome to look for me again. Old Ghost grinned. If I can find deity's blood or deity's source, I'll definitely look for you. Lin Feng said. Old Ghost, we're leaving. See you next time. Demon Monarch Lan Ling waved his hand and left with Lin Feng. Back at his residence, Lin Feng arranged for Demon Monarch Lan Ling to stay. Lin Feng was very grateful to Demon Monarch Lan Ling. He knew that Demon Monarch Lan Ling didn't leave because he wanted to support him. Bang, bang, bang. Someone knocked on the door. Who is it? Lin Feng asked. I. Sun Yi's impatient voice came from outside. Lin Feng opened the door. Sun Yi walked in and kicked Lin Feng's leg. Lin Feng hugged his leg and clenched his teeth in pain. He said angrily, "You crazy bitch. Did I offend you? Why did you kick me? You went to the black market with Demon Monarch Lan Ling. It was such a fun place. Why didn't you bring me along?" Sun Yi looked unhappy. Who told you that? What nonsense. Lin Feng said indifferently, Don't deny it. I saw you guys leave together, so I followed you. But those people didn't let me in. I'm so angry. Sun Yi put her hands on her waist angrily. It wasn't easy to enter the black market. Only a rebirth realm expert was qualified to enter. No wonder Sun Yi was so resentful. Lin Feng guessed that she must have been kicked out by someone and then vented all her anger on him. Next time, I'll definitely bring you to the black market, Lin Feng said. Humph, humph. Sun Yi lightly harumphed and said fiercely, If you don't bring me to any fun places, I'll cut off your thing next time. When Sun Yi said that, she glanced at Lin Feng's crotch. Lin Feng suddenly felt a chill in his crotch. Sun Yi was simply too valiant. Lin Feng nodded with a bitter smile and said, Don't worry, I'll definitely bring you next time. I won't go back on my words. After much persuasion, Sun Yi was finally sent away. After returning to his room, Lin Feng began to adjust his state of mind. Shuezongxian was an extremely terrifying existence. Lin Feng didn't dare to be careless in his battle with Shuezongxian. In a battle of this level, the slightest carelessness could lead to death. Lin Feng was very clear about this. Time slowly passed. As it got closer to the life and death battle between Lin Feng and Shuezongxian, the second cultivator gathering area became more and more lively. Everyone was talking about this upcoming battle. This was enough to attract the attention of many people. Not to mention, this newly promoted sovereign genius was Lin Feng, the one who had stepped on Murong Tianshan and ascended to the Heaven's Proud Arena. Countless people rushed over to watch this battle, including the people from the Spirit Array Master Guild, the Alchemist Guild, Zhang Yudi from the Auction House, and others. Any cultivator who had time to come rushed over. Above the sea, a golden ape transformed into a young cultivator. He had come from Ao Lai country's Huagua Mountain. Now that he heard that there would be a battle between young experts, he was very interested. Many things in the outside world were very attractive to him. Finally, under the watchful eyes of everyone, the day of the battle between the two sovereign geniuses arrived. Bet on Lin Feng to win, 1-4. Bet on Shuezongxian to win, 1-2. Hurry up and place your bets. Even the casino was promoting this battle. However, Judging from the odds, the casino's upper echelons believed that Shui Zongxian had a high chance of winning. Therefore, Shui Zongxian's odds were relatively low. This happened to coincide with the thoughts of countless cultivators. Most of the cultivators believed that Shui Zongxian would win this battle. This was because Shui Zongxian had become famous too early. He was a sovereign genius 10 years ago. Lin Feng's talent was very powerful. However, Lin Feng's rise was too short. It was indeed too difficult to compete with a sovereign genius like Shui Zongxian, who had been famous for a long time. Many people went to place their bets, and 90% of the cultivators bet that Shui Zongxian would win. Only about 10% of the cultivators thought that Lin Feng would win. As the bookmakers, if Shui Zongxian won, they would lose a lot of money. If Lin Feng won, they would make a lot of money. It was true that the bookmakers thought more highly of Shui Zongxian, but the bookmakers would only be able to make a lot of money when there was an upset. Place your bets. 110 million on Lin Feng to win. Sun Yi came to the place where the bets were placed. 100 million of her 110 million top-grade spirit stones belonged to Lin Feng, and the rest was hers. We'll also bet on Lin Feng to win. Hua Laier, Miao Yuling, and Su Yibing also bet 10 million each. Whoosh! In the distance, Lin Feng quickly flew over and landed on the arena. Then, he closed his eyes and rested, waiting for Shui Zongxian's arrival. Lin Feng is here. He looks very calm. I wonder if he has adjusted his condition. So what if he's in his best condition? He's far weaker than Shui Zongxian. Yeah, this time I think highly of Shui Zongxian. Shui Zongxian was a sovereign genius 10 years ago. Lin Feng's talent is better than Shui Zongxian's, but he hasn't cultivated for long. No matter how good his talent is, it's useless. He'll lose for sure this time. Many cultivators were discussing spiritedly. Boom! A tyrannical aura surged from the distance as Shui Zongxian walked over step by step. His arrival immediately caused many people to cry out in alarm. What a terrifying pressure! Many people felt suffocated when they sensed Shui Zongxian's terrifying aura. Shui Zongxian walked over and looked at Lin Feng indifferently. Little boy, kneel down. Shui Zongxian sneered. A terrifying force emerged from his body and enveloped Lin Feng. It felt like a mountain was pressing down on him. He wanted to force Lin Feng to kneel down in front of him. Lin Feng is injured. What kind of divine ability is that world-severing finger? He's actually this powerful? Rumor has it that it's a divine ability that can sever an entire world. It was created by a great emperor. A moment ago, Lin Feng used the Great Ice Technique, one of the 3,000 Great Tao techniques, right? It was destroyed by the world-severing finger. Maybe the rumors are true. Only great emperors can create such a divine ability. Countless people gasped in astonishment. They couldn't believe their eyes. Lin Feng was standing in the air, coughing violently. That attack had injured his lungs. His face was extremely pale, and his clothes were dyed red with blood. If that's all you've got, I'm really disappointed. You're as weak as an ant, said Shui Zongxian. He looked indifferent. He was looking at Lin Feng with disdain and disdain. He was really too strong. Now that he had injured Lin Feng, Shui Zongxian was even more confident. Very good. You've stimulated my fighting spirit. Lin Feng stepped forwards and used his immortal body. His injuries were healing at a visible speed. Many people were astonished. That kind of body was really powerful. It could heal injuries so quickly. Milky Way destroying fist, shouted Lin Feng in a long and resonant voice. He then jumped forwards and punched with his right fist. A boundless Milky Way world appeared in the air, but Lin Feng's fist destroyed it. World-severing finger. Shui Zongxian looked indifferent. He was still using the world-severing finger to deal with Lin Feng's Milky Way destroying fist. That divine ability was really too strong. It was as if no matter how strong Lin Feng was, he would break it with one attack. Great defensive technique. Lin Feng smiled coldly. Talismans appeared around his body. Those were the talismans created by the Great Defensive Technique. That was one of the strongest defensive techniques of the 3,000 Great Tao techniques. The talismans created by the Great Defensive Technique were protecting Lin Feng. When Shui Zongxian's world-severing finger touched Lin Feng's body, The talismans were destroyed. Shui Zongxian's world-severing finger was terrifying. It injured Lin Feng again, but most of its power was blocked by the great defensive technique. Therefore, this time, Lin Feng's injuries were not serious. However, Lin Feng's Milky Way-destroying fist had already arrived. Shui Zongxian could not dodge. Bang! That punch ruthlessly landed on Shui Zongxian's body. Shui Zongxian looked as if he had been struck by lightning. His body was blown away. Wah! He spat out a mouthful of blood in midair. Lin Feng's attack was also very strong. Shui Zongxian was seriously injured. Multitasking? How did he do that? Many people shouted in disbelief. When a cultivator used a divine technique, they could only condense a second divine technique after condensing one divine technique. However, Lin Feng was able to use two divine techniques at the same time. This was the legendary multitasking. Countless people were shocked. This was because Lin Feng had two primordial spirits, the main primordial spirit and the auxiliary primordial spirit. However, Lin Feng was the only one who knew this secret. No one else knew about it. Therefore, countless cultivators could not believe that Lin Feng was able to use two divine techniques at the same time. Ground shrinking. After Lin Feng sent Shui Zongxian flying, he quickly rushed towards Shui Zongxian. He did not want to give Shui Zongxian a chance to counterattack. After Lin Feng arrived beside Shui Zongxian, he directly condensed a huge lightning ball. Sky Tyrant Lightning Art. Lin Feng took out the lightning ball. That huge lightning ball directly exploded in the void. Shui Zongxian could not dodge and was engulfed by the explosion. At the center of the explosion, the destructive energy tore the void apart. Many people were shocked. The divine technique that Lin Feng used was really too powerful. In the void, Lin Feng looked at the center of the explosion. The spectating cultivators also looked at the center of the battle. Everyone wanted to know how Shui Zongxian was doing. Finally, the energy dissipated and Shui Zongxian appeared. Shui Zongxian's clothes were tattered and his hair was disheveled. His entire body was dripping with blood, and there were even white bones in some places. He had suffered serious injuries, but he was not dead. "You have angered me," Shui Zongxian roared. Shouted Shui Zongxian furiously. He looked at Lin Feng icily. He walked towards Lin Feng step by step. Behind Shui Zongxian, a mysterious and ancient world appeared. In that world, experts fell from the sky one after another. It was a world where countless experts were buried. 5 Emperor Dragon Fists. Lin Feng made his move and used a supreme divine technique to attack Shui Zongxian. Qing Emperor Emo Dragon, Red Emperor Fire Dragon, White Emperor Gold Dragon, Black Emperor Water Dragon, and Yellow Emperor Divine Dragon. 5 great emperors appeared. They stepped on 5 huge dragons and suppressed Shui Zongxian with the world of gods above their heads. "I bury an immortal with each step," Shui Zongxian roared and charged towards Lin Feng. The two sides collided. When Lin Feng's divine technique collided with Shui Zongxian's world that buried countless experts, the 5 great emperors and the huge dragons instantly collapsed. Lin Feng was even more shocked to find that he could not control his body and was quickly falling to the ground. "I buried the immortals, and now I will bury you." Shui Zongxian's expression was indifferent. He punched towards Lin Feng. Endless destructive power condensed. If this punch landed on Lin Feng's body, it would be enough to instantly shatter his body. Chapter 12:13. Is that the power of a martial spirit? Many people were shocked and looked at Shui Zongxian. They realized that Shui Zongxian wasn't using a divine ability. He was using his martial spirit. The world of immortals? Is that the legendary world of immortals? Many people exclaimed in disbelief. It was a legendary martial spirit. Immortals were ethereal. It was said that they surpassed gods and emperors. Were there really immortals in the world? No one knew, but there had always been rumors about immortals in the world. Now, Shui Zongxian was using his martial spirit, burying an immortal with each step. How terrifying was that? It was terrifying. No wonder Lin Feng's divine ability was broken in an instant. It wasn't strange at all, as it could even bury an immortal, let alone a divine ability. Is Lin Feng going to be killed? Many cultivators exclaimed in surprise because Shui Zongxian's attack was unavoidable. If he's killed, we'll steal his treasures. Many powerful cultivators were discussing secretly. They were probably on the same side, and they wanted to steal Lin Feng's treasures. Lin Feng had all kinds of divine abilities, the inheritance of the celestial master path, magical treasures, spiritual medicines, heavenly flames. They were enough to make many people risk their lives for him. Of course, many people were worried about Lin Feng, such as Jiang Yudi, Morong Baichuan, Sun Yi, and the others. They were all watching the battle in the arena nervously. Shui Zongxian's attack was about to hit Lin Feng, and it had already locked onto him. The endless destructive power was about to destroy Lin Feng's body. Boom! At that critical moment, Lin Feng's dantian flashed. The 5 black holes merged into one. The endless destructive power was swallowed by Lin Feng's black holes. You're trapped in the world of immortals. You're like a cornered beast. You have no chance of survival. Shui Zongxian looked indifferent. He was very confident in his world of immortals. He stepped forward, and the qi in his body became stronger and stronger. It was a world formed by his martial spirit. In such a world, Shui Zongxian's strength would increase greatly. Lin Feng, on the other hand, would be constantly weakened. Now, Lin Feng could not even stand steadily. From this, it could be seen what kind of difficult situation he was in. Lin Feng stabilized his body with great difficulty. The immortal graveyard world was very strange. It was as if there was a power that could restrict the ability to fly. This caused Lin Feng's movements to be greatly hindered. Stop your pointless struggle. It's time for everything to end. Shui Zongxian's expression was cold. He took a step forward and threw Immortal Burying Fist at Lin Feng. This was an extremely heaven-defying divine ability. When combined with Shui Zongxian's martial soul, the immortal burial world, it was simply invincible. Shui Zongxian swept out with his fist. Countless corpses of immortals fell down and turned into dust in midair. It was truly a peerless supreme art, causing one's expression to change. It locked onto Lin Feng, wanting to kill Lin Feng. 8 trigrams. Lin Feng jumped in the air and turned into an 8 trigrams diagram. This was the inheritance of the heavenly masters. The 8 trigrams diagram could tear apart the void. Qin, Kuren, Li, Kan, Zhen, Dui, Sun, and Jin were suppressed in 8 different directions. The 8 trigrams diagram spun rapidly in the air like the sharpest weapon. It tore apart the void and attacked Shui Zongxian. Bang! The 2 sides collided again. Shui Zongxian's Immortal Burying Fist continued to attack Lin Feng's 8 trigrams diagram. He couldn't destroy Lin Feng's 8 trigrams diagram. Instead, he was forced to retreat. Many people glanced at each other in astonishment. Lin Feng was trapped in the immortal burial world and was being suppressed everywhere. Surprisingly, he was able to force Shui Zongxian to retreat. Many people were astonished. As expected of the person who defeated Morong Tianshun and got onto the Tianjiao battle stage, this Lin Feng is really terrifying. Many people were astonished. They were astonished by Lin Feng's strength. This battle was becoming more and more unpredictable. Originally, 90% of the cultivators thought that Shui Zongxian would win, but now, many of them were shaken. Lin Feng's strength was much stronger than what they had imagined. Immortal Burying Coffin. After Shui Zongxian was forced to retreat, he couldn't help but roar furiously. He condensed a supreme divine ability and attacked Lin Feng's 8 trigrams diagram again. In the immortal burial world, light surged and condensed into a gigantic coffin. I have an immortal burying coffin. It can bury immortals. The immortal burying coffin descended from the sky and suppressed the 8 trigrams diagram. The immortal burying coffin was extremely terrifying. When it suppressed the 8 trigrams diagram, the void cracked. A spine-chilling aura burst out from the coffin. It was as if the coffin was actually capable of burying the immortals inside it. Bang! 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 The immortal burying coffin collided with the 8 trigrams diagram. Lin Feng's 8 trigrams diagram was blown away by the immortal burying coffin. It can bury immortals and suppress all the worlds. Shui Zongxian roared and took a step forward. He struck out with both hands and poured endless magical power into the immortal burying coffin. The immortal burying coffin's power became stronger and stronger. The immortal burying coffin bombarded the 8 trigrams diagram again and again. After 9 consecutive collisions, Lin Feng could no longer maintain the 8 trigrams diagram. He was beaten back to his original form. His body flew out and his face was abnormally pale. Lin Feng suffered serious injuries in the collision with the immortal burying coffin. The immortal burying coffin's destructive power was extremely shocking. I will bury your life and turn you into a speck of dust in this world. Shui Zongxian walked over step by step. He was like a death god that walked out of hell. Bury immortals. Bury all the worlds. Bury billions of mountains and rivers. Bury countless living beings. And now, he wanted to bury Lin Feng as well. Bang! The immortal burying coffin bombarded Lin Feng's body and sent Lin Feng flying. Lin Feng coughed out blood. The attack just now had caused him to suffer even more serious injuries. He was trapped in the immortal burying world and was extremely passive. Now, he was finally showing signs of fatigue. It seemed like he couldn't continue to resist Shui Zongxian's continuous attacks. Lin Feng doesn't seem to be able to hold on any longer. Is this battle going to end like this? Many people murmured because Lin Feng was too passive. They felt that this battle was about to end. I'm quite surprised that you can hold on until now. But in the end, you will be killed by me. Shui Zongxian looked indifferent. He pointed at the sky and stomped on the ground. With a wave of his hand, the immortal burying coffin attacked Lin Feng again. It's too early to be happy. Lin Feng looked indifferent. At this moment, he was walking in the void. The immortal divine blood in his body was awakening. Behind Lin Feng, an endless amount of black fog was rolling in waves. A gloomy and cold aura filled the air. What's that? Many people were astonished when they saw the black fog behind Lin Feng's back and saw an ancient stone door. Chapter 12:14. The immortal Hell's Gate stood tall in the void, emitting a tyrannical power that could distort time and space. This was the second ability of Lin Feng's immortal divine body, which was to summon the Hell's Gate. Rumor had it that this was the gate that connected the mortal world and hell. Now that the Hell's Gate had appeared, a terrifying aura surged out from it. That eerie and terrifying gate seems to be connected to a world of death. What kind of gate is that? It's so terrifying that it makes my soul tremble. Could it be connected to a world of death? Many people were discussing. Although the Hell's Gate had yet to display its divine might, many people could feel the power of death from the Hell's Gate that made their hearts palpitate. The power of death made everyone's soul tremble. That ancient stone door was simply too strange. One could vaguely see that there were many distorted runes drawn on the stone gate. Those runes seemed to depict purgatory-like worlds. In one world, cultivators were tied to fiery red copper pillars. Their bodies were cooked by the red copper pillars. In another world, the tongues of the cultivators were pulled out. In another world, the cultivators were cut into pieces. The world depicted by the runes was too terrifying. It was like the 18 levels of hell that appeared in myths and legends. It was a place where countless living beings were tortured after they died. Now, Lin Feng stepped forward, and the Hell's Gate flew out. Lin Feng was like the son of hell. Under Lin Feng's control, the Hell's Gate directly hit the immortal burying coffin. Bang! The immortal burying coffin and the Hell's Gate collided. Even the void was collapsing. It didn't seem like a battle between two young cultivators. Instead, it seemed like a battle between two old antiques that had lived for tens of thousands of years. Clang! Clang! The Hell's Gate and the immortal burying coffin collided again and again. Wah! Many cultivators who were closer to the Hell's Gate couldn't withstand the sound waves produced by the collision between the Hell's Gate and the immortal burying coffin, and they vomited blood. Hurry up and retreat. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Many cultivators screamed in fear and kept retreating, not daring to move forward. After 36 consecutive collisions, the Gate of Hell shattered the immortal burying divine coffin and then suppressed Shui Zongxian. Lin Feng has gained the upper hand. Many people cried out in surprise. They had never expected that Lin Feng would gain the upper hand. Many people were shaken and found it hard to believe what they were seeing. Shui Zongxian's immortal burial world was so powerful. Lin Feng was shrouded in it and was greatly restricted. Yet, he was still able to gain an advantage. This was truly too terrifying. Bang! Hell's Gate suppressed Shui Zongxian's body. Shui Zongxian felt as if he had been struck by lightning as he spat out a large mouthful of blood. Crack! Crack! His body was cracking apart. Fresh blood flowed out, dyeing him red. In the distance, the experts of the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan looked extremely gloomy. This was not the result they wanted to see. He is unexpectedly strong. Looks like I have underestimated him. Demon Monarch Lan Ling revealed a smile. Great Elder Lin, you're amazing. Vice President Wang Changming and the others from the Spirit Array Caster Guild side. Countless people were amazed. Now that Shui Zongxian had suffered a calamity, his physical body was severely injured. It seemed like he would not be able to hold on much longer. Lin Feng's mysterious stone gate was too strong. You have always acted high and mighty, full of contempt for me. Now, it seems like you are slapping your own face. Lin Feng sneered and stepped forward. He threw a punch at Shui Zongxian, wanting to kill him. You want to kill me with just you alone? Today, I will tear you to pieces. Shui Zongxian roared crazily. He was going crazy with hatred. Previously, he had looked down on Lin Feng, but now, he had been severely injured by someone he looked down on. It was hard for Shui Zongxian, who had always been arrogant, to accept it. He felt like his body was about to be ignited by the flames of anger. Shui Zongxian only had one thought now, and that was to kill Lin Feng. He had to use the cruelest method to kill Lin Feng. That was the only way to quell his anger. That was the only way to wash away the humiliation. Endless light surged out from Shui Zongxian's dantian. An ancient aura spread out from Shui Zongxian's body. Shui Zongxian was a pure-blooded cultivator. Such a cultivator was too rare. In Shui Zongxian's life, he had only activated his pure-blooded bloodline 3 times, and then killed 3 great enemies. Now, Shui Zongxian had activated his pure-blooded bloodline for the 4th time. Not good. Lin Feng's face changed slightly. He felt a terrifying aura from Shui Zongxian's body. That aura made his hair stand on end. Lin Feng knew that he must not give Shui Zongxian a chance to awaken his pure-blooded bloodline. Once the pure-blooded bloodline in his body was awakened, then it would be troublesome. Lin Feng rushed forward and threw a punch at Shui Zongxian, but it was too late. The pure-blooded bloodline in Shui Zongxian's body was awakened. Ah! Shui Zongxian roared. He was shrouded in black fog, and no one could see his appearance clearly. Shui Zongxian, who had activated his pure-blooded bloodline, was even more terrifying. He grabbed the Hell's Gate with both hands and smashed it directly at Lin Feng. Bang! The Hell's Gate hit Lin Feng's body, and Lin Feng was sent flying. Cough, cough, cough. Lin Feng coughed violently, and his face was pale. He looked at Shui Zongxian in horror. Shui Zongxian, who had activated his pure-blooded bloodline, was so terrifying that he could shake the Hell's Gate with his physical body. I will let you die in endless fear. Shui Zongxian stepped forward, and his voice was filled with endless coldness and killing intent. Lin Feng felt the danger. He quickly retreated and tore apart the Zongxian world, and finally put some distance between him and Shui Zongxian. It's useless. You can't escape. Come here. Shui Zongxian laughed. Shui Zongxian laughed strangely. His voice became hoarse and sinister. Shui Zongxian, who was in the black fog, stretched out his right hand, and a black hole appeared in his right hand. It looked like a black hole in the universe. That black hole released a powerful suction force, and it enveloped Lin Feng. Lin Feng's body flew uncontrollably towards Shui Zongxian. The Heaven-Devouring Demon Toad's bloodline ability, Heaven-Devouring Demon Cave. Many people shouted in astonishment. The Heaven-Devouring Demon Toad's bloodline ability was terrifying. It was said that it could devour all living things and steal life energy. That was the difference between the Heaven-Devouring Demon Cave and Lin Feng's Devouring Martial Spirit. Lin Feng's Devouring Martial Spirit could devour all kinds of attacks, all kinds of energies, but it couldn't steal life energy. The heaven-devouring demon Toad's heaven-devouring demon cave couldn't devour other people's attacks, but it could steal life energy. Lin Feng sensed that his lifespan was decreasing as he got closer to Shui Zongxian. He originally had 11,000 years of lifespan, but very quickly, he only had 10,000 years left. Soon, he only had 9,000 years left. After devouring Lin Feng's lifespan, Shui Zongxian's qi became more and more terrifying. It was obvious that Shui Zongxian could devour other people's lifespan to increase his fighting strength. Lin Feng's face turned ugly. If this continued, it wouldn't take long for his lifespan to be completely devoured. At that time, he would die without a grave. Chapter 12:15. I'll steal your life to strengthen myself. You're just a stepping stone on my path of cultivation. You'll turn into a pile of bones and be forgotten by the world. Shui Zongxian looked cold and detached. He stepped forwards and glanced at Lin Feng with disdain, as if he had everything under control. Shui Zongxian was indeed very strong. He was extremely confident because his pure blood had never failed. In Shui Zongxian's opinion, Lin Feng was going to die just like the cultivators he had killed in the past. He was going to use Lin Feng's life to strengthen himself. Stealing life, that's really powerful. Lin Feng is going to be in trouble. That's an invincible ability. Lin Feng's lifespan won't be completely stolen, right? If that's the case, he's going to die. Many people cried out in surprise, their hearts trembling. At this point in the battle, it seemed like it was about time for the victor to be decided. Right now, the scales of this battle were tilting towards Shui Zongxian. 8 divine seals. Talismans appeared and sealed Lin Feng's body. Under the 8 divine seals, Lin Feng's life span finally stopped. You want to steal my lifespan? I'll beat you up first, shouted Lin Feng furiously. 2,000 years of lifespan had been stolen from him. Lin Feng was furious. His heart was filled with killing intent. He arrived in front of Shui Zongxian and threw a punch at him. You. Shui Zongxian's expression changed because he realized that he couldn't steal Lin Feng's lifespan anymore. But Shui Zongxian quickly calmed down. He was a monster. His body was extremely strong. He wasn't afraid of close combat. He threw a punch at Lin Feng. In such a close combat situation, one punch and one kick were extremely fast. They didn't even have time to circulate their qi or use spells. It was a battle of pure physical strength. Both of their bodies were extremely strong. Lin Feng punched Shui Zongxian's shoulder and broke his bones. Shui Zongxian slapped Lin Feng's body and made Lin Feng cough up blood. In a physical confrontation, if both sides were people with extremely powerful physical bodies, it was obvious that both sides would suffer in the end. Lin Feng and Shui Zongxian exchanged more than 30 attacks. In the end, Lin Feng gradually gained the upper hand. Even though Shui Zongxian's body was extremely strong, Lin Feng's body was even stronger. Shui Zongxian was a 100% pure bloodline. The pure bloodline of the heaven-devouring demonic toad was at the divine beast level. Therefore, Shui Zongxian's body was able to contend against fiend gods, but he was still weaker than Lin Feng. Lin Feng punched Shui Zongxian's left chest. Shui Zongxian's left sternum cracked. He was severely injured. His sternum was completely broken, and some of his white bones were exposed. Shui Zongxian coughed up a mouthful of blood. His face was as pale as paper. Lin Feng seized this opportunity and rushed forward. He threw another punch at Shui Zongxian. Shui Zongxian waved his fist to block. Both of them collided once again. Gotcha. Shui Zongxian's arm was broken. Lin Feng's body is too strong, isn't it? Shui Zongxian has a pure blood. His body is comparable to the body of a god or demon. But now, he is completely suppressed by Lin Feng. It's hard to imagine how strong Lin Feng's body is. Many cultivators cried out in surprise. Their faces were filled with shock and emotion. Shui Zongxian was suppressed by Lin Feng. It was indeed too shocking. Ah! Shui Zongxian's roar shook the sky. He was extremely sullen. He thought that he could easily get rid of Lin Feng. But now, he was repeatedly defeated by Lin Feng. Now, he had no choice but to retreat quickly. He had to increase the distance between him and Lin Feng. Close combat was too disadvantageous for him. Shui Zongxian was worried. If he did not quickly increase the distance between him and Lin Feng, he could be killed by Lin Feng at any time. Where do you think you're going? Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He was not willing to give Shui Zongxian a chance. He rushed forward and slashed at Shui Zongxian. He wanted to use this opportunity to get rid of Shui Zongxian. Shui Zongxian's method was not ordinary. He had activated the second ability of his pure blood. Beams of destructive light shot out from Shui Zongxian's body. These beams of destructive light were very terrifying. They instantly tore through the void. Lin Feng felt danger. He had no choice but to block the beams of destructive light. A tearing sound was heard. Lin Feng's body was pierced by the beams of destructive light. Blood spurted out. That's the cosmic destruction beam. Legend has it that it's a kind of destructive light produced in the depths of the universe. It's also the most terrifying destructive force in the world. It was refined by the ancestors of the heaven-devouring demonic Toad clan and integrated into their bloodline. It's passed down from generation to generation. Every pure-blood cultivator can awaken this ability. It's really terrifying. Even Lin Feng can't block it. Many people cried out in alarm. They were talking about the origin of the destructive light. Now, Lin Feng was facing an even fiercer attack from the cosmic destruction beam. The beams of destructive light seemed to be able to destroy the firmament and destroy the universe. Numerous beams of destructive light shot towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng was dodging the attacks in a very difficult manner. However, he was still unable to dodge the attacks. His body was once again pierced by the beams of destructive light. Deep wounds appeared on his body. Lin Feng was in big trouble. Is he finally going to die? The cultivators of the heaven-devouring demonic Toad clan sneered. It was as if they could already see Lin Feng dying. The Lanling Demon King and Zhang Yudi frowned. Lin Feng was too passive. They couldn't help but worry about Lin Feng. More and more beams of destructive light shot towards Lin Feng. They wanted to kill Lin Feng completely. It's useless. You can't dodge the attacks of the cosmic destruction beam. You're destined to die. Shui Zongxian sneered. Lin Feng was walking in the void. He said indifferently, "It's too early to be happy." As soon as he said that, the 5 devouring martial spirits in Lin Feng's dantian revolved. Rumble. Suddenly, terrifying waves of energy spread out from the sky. 5 huge black holes appeared. Are those martial spirits? Why does he have 5 martial spirits? Many people were puzzled. It was the first time they had seen such martial spirits. I'm not sure. His martial spirits are very similar to the first ability of Shui Zongxian's pure blood. Lin Feng's martial spirits are devouring martial spirits. They can seal and devour attacks. I've seen him use his martial spirits before, but he didn't reveal his martial spirits at that time. I didn't think that his martial spirits would be 5 black holes. Many cultivators were discussing this. They were all puzzled. Why did Lin Feng have 5 black holes? It was really strange. In the sky, the 5 black holes gradually merged together. The 5 black holes fused into one. When the 5 black holes fused into one, the entire world seemed to be imprisoned. Lin Feng was standing in the middle of the black hole. At that moment, he felt as if the sovereign blood in his body had been awakened. The devouring martial spirits were inherited from the sovereign blood clan. Lin Feng could faintly see the ancestors of the sovereign blood clan standing in the depths of the black hole and looking at him. Lin Feng was also looking at the ancestors of the sovereign blood clan. Chapter 12:16. His 5 devouring martial spirits merged into one and he stood within them, communicating with the sovereign emperor's blood in his body. This was a powerful technique that Lin Feng had comprehended after awakening the sovereign emperor's blood. The surrounding space had been completely sealed, but Shui Zongxian was very terrifying. Although his movements were greatly restricted, he was still not sealed. Still want to put up a desperate struggle? Shui Zongxian's expression was indifferent. He looked at Lin Feng with a sneer. Shui Zongxian, who had activated his strongest battle strength, was extremely confident in himself. He believed that he could kill Lin Feng with the help of the universe extreme destruction beam. Asterisk swish. Asterisk dazzling light surged out. Beams of Universe Extreme Destruction Beam shot towards Lin Feng. They blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Nobody knew how many beams there were. Xue Zongxian has launched his most violent attack. He wants to end the battle quickly. Many people cried out in alarm. Xue Zongxian's attack was unprecedentedly powerful. Although Lin Feng had summoned his martial spirit to fight against Xue Zongxian, Lin Feng's martial spirit did not have much attacking power. This was a well-known fact. How could he block Xue Zongxian's attack? This was also the reason why many people did not think that Lin Feng would win. The Universe Extreme Destruction Beam that blotted out the sky and covered the earth had already arrived in front of Lin Feng. It tore through the void and destroyed the dome of heaven. Many people even thought that Lin Feng would die under Xue Zongxian's attack. However, when the densely packed Universe Extreme Destruction Beam was about to hit Lin Feng, something shocking happened. The black hole hovering in the void emitted a black gas, which instantly destroyed all the cosmic extreme destruction light beams. The black gas descended from the sky and swept towards Xue Zongxian. This is impossible. Xue Zongxian roared in disbelief. He did not dare to believe his eyes. That was his most powerful attack, but now it had been easily destroyed by Lin Feng. This was a huge blow to Xue Zongxian. Xue Zongxian, my divine ability is called the Ruler of Destruction. It's a divine ability I created by fusing my bloodline with my martial spirit. I'd like to see how you're going to block it. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He activated the black gas with all his strength and attacked Xue Zongxian. Lin Feng stood in the middle of the black hole and used his martial spirit to communicate with the Sovereign Emperor Blood. He activated the Sovereign Emperor Blood's power and fused it with his devouring martial spirit. He could unleash a terrifying attack that could destroy anything. This divine ability was quite heaven-defying. Of course, it was not easy to use. When Lin Feng executed this ultimate skill, he felt that the mana in his body had been consumed by 60 to 70%. His body felt weak. The more powerful the divine ability, the greater the consumption of magic power. It was clear that the Sovereign's Armageddon was Lin Feng's strongest ability, and there is no one like it. This was because Lin Feng had activated a trace of the Sovereign Emperor Blood's power. Lin Feng's mother's clan was too terrifying. They were a clan that had gone against the ancient times. Even if they could only activate a trace of the Sovereign Emperor Blood's power, it was enough to destroy the heavens and earth. The black gas pressed down. Xue Zongxian felt a dangerous aura and quickly retreated. However, Xue Zongxian was shocked to find that the black gas had completely locked onto him. Therefore, no matter how he tried to dodge, he could not avoid it. Xue Zongxian's face became extremely ugly. He took out a defensive magic treasure at the pinnacle of Dao artifact level. This defensive treasure was a small 3-story pagoda. It was completely golden in color and was called the Golden Exquisite Pagoda. It had extremely powerful defensive power. After the exquisite golden pagoda was taken out, it blocked in front of Xue Zongxian and helped him resist the attack of the black gas. Bang! The black gas was only one pagoda and was about the thickness of a thumb. However, when it pressed down, it created a momentum that was like an ancient divine mountain falling from the sky. The attack swept across the exquisite golden pagoda. Crack! Crack! The exquisite golden pagoda instantly cracked. After blocking for a moment, this pinnacle Dao artifact supreme treasure actually shattered into pieces. Isn't this attack a little too strong? Countless cultivators who were watching the battle could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. That was a pinnacle defensive Dao artifact. But now, it was destroyed just like that. It was really unbelievable. However, it was the truth. Everyone had no choice but to believe it. The black gas continued to press down on Xue Zongxian. Break! Xue Zongxian took out a battle spear. It was a half-divine weapon that was stained with blood. Its power could be said to be terrifying. Now that Xue Zongxian was holding the battle spear, his spine suddenly shot up like a dragon. The battle spear in his hand swept towards the black gas. Clang! Along with the fierce attack, the battle spear in Xue Zongxian's hand collided with the black gas. Xue Zongxian was indeed powerful. The black gas was scattered. Myriad Dao firmament, destroy all worlds. Xue Zongxian roared. He was like a demon god, as if he was carrying an ancient mountain. He walked towards Lin Feng step by step. His aura was constantly rising. Shui Zongxian held the spear with both hands and charged towards Lin Feng. Shui Zongxian, it's useless. The current you has already lost the ability to fight against me. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He activated the black hole with all his strength. The black hole let out a loud rumbling sound. Then, it descended from the sky. It pressed down on Shui Zongxian. Bang! Shui Zongxian was sent flying and vomited a large mouthful of blood in midair. With just one attack, he was severely injured. He could not withstand Lin Feng's attack at all. The black hole flew above Shui Zongxian and directly pressed down on him. Ah! Shui Zongxian roared. He wanted to struggle, but there was no way for him to do so. All of his attacks were instantly broken and his body was suppressed under the black hole. The victor has been decided. Exclamations sounded one after another. Shui Zongxian's momentum was gone and he could not resist. This result was unexpected. No one had thought that in the end, it would be Lin Feng who defeated Shui Zongxian. Shui Zongxian was an existence that had become a supreme genius 10 years ago, but he was still defeated by Lin Feng. I've lost. Shui Zongxian was extremely unwilling, but he had no choice but to admit defeat. He lowered his head and his eyes were filled with endless hatred and killing intent. The hatred in his heart towards Lin Feng was like a flood that reached the sky. He hated that he could not tear Lin Feng into pieces, but Shui Zongxian knew that he had to endure. Brat, why aren't you letting him go? Shui Luanfa said with a gloomy expression. His eyes were shining with a cold light. Lin Feng put his hands behind his back and said with an indifferent expression, in a battle of life and death, the loser will be killed. You dare? Shui Luanfa shouted coldly. Why wouldn't I dare? Lin Feng sneered and raised his right hand. A ray of sword chi shot out. Puff. Shui Zongxian's head soared into the sky. Chapter 12:17. Little bastard, you're courting death. Shui Luanfa roared. Shui Zongxian's death was a huge blow to the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan. Shui Zongxian was the leader of the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan's younger generation. Now that he was dead, the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan's younger generation would definitely decline. Lin Feng had killed Shui Zongxian, and Shui Luanfa hated Lin Feng to the core. Now, Shui Luanfa only wanted to tear Lin Feng into pieces. Shui Luanfa soared into the sky and charged towards Lin Feng. He opened his palm and slammed it towards Lin Feng. Oomph! Demon Lord Lanling sneered and blocked Shui Luanfa's path. He exchanged a blow with Shui Luanfa and forced Shui Luanfa to retreat. Shui Luanfa roared, Demon Lord Lanling, how dare you stop me? Demon Lord Lanling sneered, Shui Luanfa, this is a battle of life and death between Lin Feng and Shui Zongxian. Since it's a battle of life and death, it's a battle of life and death. Shui Zongxian was killed because his cultivation was weak, and he can't blame anyone else. Now that you want to kill Lin Feng, do you have any shame? Murong Baichuan stepped forward and said, Daoist Shui, you've gone overboard today. The rules of the Tianwu continent state that outsiders are not allowed to interfere in a battle of life and death. Moreover, the members of the same sect, clan, and sect are not allowed to cause trouble for the other party within 3 days. Daoist Shui, are you trying to go against the rules of the Tianwu continent? Shui Luanfa's face was extremely gloomy. The Tianwu continent did have such rules. They were not allowed to deal with the cultivators involved in a battle of life and death within 3 days to give them time to recover. Very good. Very good. Very good. My heaven-devouring demonic toad clan will remember the two of you. Shui Luanfa looked coldly at Demon Lord Lanling and Murong Baichuan, his words carrying a hint of threat. So what if we remember? Do you think I'm afraid of your heaven-devouring demonic toad clan? Demon Lord Lanling sneered. Hee, does the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan dare to go against my spirit array caster guild? Fellow Shui, you're threatening the wrong person. Although my spirit array master guild stands aloof from worldly affairs, if anyone dares to provoke my spirit array master guild, then my spirit array master guild is not to be trifled with. Murong Baichuan sneered. The power of the Spiritual Array Caster Guild was unimaginable. Their network was huge. Although the heaven-devouring demon toad clan was strong, there was still a big gap between them and the Spiritual Array Caster Guild. Therefore, when he heard Shui Luanfa's threat, Murong Baichuan was disdainful. Shui Luanfa's face became increasingly gloomy. His eyes flickered with a cold light, but he did not say anything else. On the stage, Lin Feng kept Shui Zongxian's storage ring. Then, he flew down and left with Demon Monarch Lan Ling, Murong Baichuan, and the others. Just like that, the battle that everyone had been paying attention to ended. However, it was clear that the disturbance caused by this battle was far from over. Shui Zongxian had become a sovereign genius 10 years ago. Now that he had been killed by Lin Feng, it naturally caused a great uproar. Lin Feng had stepped on Murong Tianxian and ascended the stage. His talent was unparalleled in the world. Originally, although everyone knew that Lin Feng was very talented, many people thought that Lin Feng's cultivation time was much shorter than that of the top geniuses. Therefore, his strength could not be compared to those top geniuses. However, it was only after this battle that everyone realized how wrong their thinking was. Lin Feng was a monster. He had already caught up with the top geniuses. Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian still have a life-or-death battle. I originally thought that Huangfu Qingtian would definitely win this battle, but now I've changed my mind. Huangfu Qingtian is one of the top 3 geniuses. Shui Zongxian can't compare to him. Although Lin Feng has killed Shui Zongxian, he's almost exhausted. Therefore, he can't be a match for Huangfu Qingtian. Although he's not a match for Huangfu Qingtian now, don't forget that Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian will have a life-or-death battle in 4 years. With Lin Feng's talent, it's possible for him to surpass Huangfu Qingtian in 4 years. It's possible. I think that after Huangfu Qingtian heard that Lin Feng killed Shui Zongxian, he won't be as calm as before. Maybe he'll take some necessary actions. Many people were talking about Lin Feng. Some people were talking about how the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan would deal with Lin Feng after he killed Shui Zongxian. Some people were talking about the battle between Lin Feng and Huangfu Qingtian. Some people were talking about whether Lin Feng had a peerless expert behind him. Otherwise, how could he be so monstrous? At that moment, Lin Feng, Sun Yi, Miao Yuling, Hua Lai and Su Yibing took a teleportation formation and left the second cultivator gathering area. The cultivators of the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan wanted to use a teleportation formation to chase after Lin Feng, but they were stopped by Demon Emperor Lan Ling and Murong Baichuan. What's the meaning of this? Shui Luanfa said gloomily. The teleportation formation won't be activated tonight, so you should go back, said Demon Emperor Lan Ling. You should go back, said Murong Baichuan. So you're saying that you're going to have a falling out with the heaven-devouring demonic toad clan? Shui Luanfa looked gloomy. If you think so, I can tell you that it's just as you think. So what if we have a falling out? Said Murong Baichuan with his hands clasped behind his back. He was the leader of the Union of Alchemists in the 72 provinces. Leave. Don't waste your time here. You won't be able to activate the teleportation formation with us here, said Demon Emperor Lan Ling. All right. Shui Luanfa glanced coldly at Murong Baichuan and Demon Emperor Lan Ling, then left with his people. After Lin Feng's group left the second cultivator gathering area, they went through 4 or 5 other gathering areas in order to hide their whereabouts. A month later, 5 cultivators stopped outside a storm-ravaged sea and looked into the depths of the sea. Among the 5 people, there was 1 man and 4 women. The man was handsome and confident, while the 4 women were all extremely beautiful. They were Lin Feng's group. Nightmare Island should be in the deepest part of the stormy sea, but it's extremely dangerous. Not only are there all kinds of terrifying storms, but there are also many terrifying restrictions. Passing through the stormy sea and entering Nightmare Island is as difficult as ascending to the heavens, said Su Yibing. Shui Luanfa nodded. With Lin Feng's help, passing through the stormy sea shouldn't be a problem. This place is really dangerous. Everyone, stay close to me and don't wander off, said Lin Feng. The 4 women nodded. The group of 5 didn't stop and entered the stormy sea. Not long after they entered the stormy sea, an ugly head poked out from the sea. Its cold eyes looked at the 5 people who had entered the stormy sea. Chapter 12:18. This ugly head did not belong to a human. Although it looked like a human's head, its face was covered in scales. This was the sea race. It had always been rumored that the sea race existed in the depths of the Eastern Sea, and even the Eastern Sea Dragon Palace. However, no one in the outside world had ever seen the sea race or the Eastern Sea Dragon Palace. In truth, whether it was the sea race or the Eastern Sea Dragon Palace, they did exist. But why was the outside world's knowledge of the sea race and the Eastern Sea Dragon Palace only limited to legends? There was a reason for this. First, ordinary cultivators would not enter the depths of the Eastern Sea. That was because the depths of the Eastern Sea were filled with powerful sea beasts. These sea beasts were ferocious. If you encountered them, you would definitely die. Even the top forces would not enter the depths of the Eastern Sea under normal circumstances. Of course, some of the top forces had been in the Eastern Sea for many years and knew a little about the sea race and the Dragon Palace. However, only the upper echelons of the Eastern Sea knew about the sea race and the Dragon Palace. These upper echelons were very wary of the sea race and the Dragon Palace. Hence, they would not talk about them in front of others. Because of this, the outside world knew very little about the sea race and the Dragon Palace. The sea race member quickly left and entered the depths of the sea. In the depths of the sea, there was an endless number of palaces. This was the Eastern Sea Dragon Palace. The Eastern Sea Dragon Palace was occupied by the evil dragon race. The evil dragon race was a race of the dragon race whose bloodline was comparable to the divine dragon and heavenly dragon. On the other hand, the evil dragon clan had a cruel temperament and was extremely licentious, so their reputation was extremely bad. Even the divine dragon clan, the heavenly dragon clan, and several other dragon clans that were similar to the evil dragon clan looked down on them. However, one had to admit that the evil dragon race was very powerful. Perhaps it was because of their licentious nature that the evil dragon race had many more children than the divine dragon race. Currently, there were no traces of the divine dragon race and heavenly dragon race in the Sky Martial continent. However, the evil dragon race was still flourishing. The evil dragon king of the Dragon Palace had 13 sons and 7 daughters. And now, the sea race member had come to the third prince's palace. The third prince of the Dragon Palace was called Aobing. Your Highness, there's a major discovery, that oceanic species member hurriedly said. At this moment, Aobing was being intimate with 2 women of the oceanic species. When he heard the oceanic species report, he stopped and asked, what major discovery? If they were caught in the shockwaves of the collision, they would instantly be crushed to pieces. Bang, bang, bang. The God's pirate ship and the Death pirate ship collided again and again, creating huge space-time black holes. Lin Feng had seen the void shatter before, but at most, it would just crack, and it would quickly repair itself. But now, the God's pirate ship and the Death pirate ship's destructive power was too great. They had formed a huge space-time black hole that covered dozens of miles. Lin Feng's group of 5 had no choice but to continue retreating. The space-time black hole was devouring everything around it. Even the islands were swallowed up. The God's pirate ship and the Death pirate ship were below the black hole, clashing once more amidst the towering waves. Both sides were locked in battle, and it was very difficult to suppress the other. At that moment, numerous tentacles suddenly stretched out of the sea. Heavens, that's... Chapter 12:19. An octopus? Su Yibing said in shock. She couldn't believe it. How could there be such a huge octopus in this world? Just one of its tentacles was 100,000 meters long. She couldn't imagine how huge the body of the octopus was. Now, the octopus wanted to devour the God's pirate ship and the Death pirate ship. But obviously, devouring the 2 pirate ships was not an easy task. The 2 pirate ships were supreme treasures left behind from the immemorial age or before. They had infinite divine power. The glory of the immemorial era, the eternal divine power of the immemorial gods, the immemorial godship that carries the hope of the immemorial gods, immortal for all eternity. The Empress's voice came from the god's ship. Thinking of the Empress, Lin Feng couldn't help but think of the time when he joined forces with the Empress and Granny of Tianshan in the 33 Steps of Sky Stairway. The Empress's peerless beauty was still unforgettable. Traverse the world of death, cross the boundary between life and death, and reach the shore of eternal life. A cold voice came from the Death's ship. Lin Feng guessed that it was the voice of Barbassa, the captain of the Death's ship. The god's phantom appeared on the god's ship, and the Death's army appeared on the Death's ship. The gods were chanting the glory of the immemorial era. The Death's army roared sorrowfully, shaking the mountains and rivers as if they were about to descend from the endless world of death. Puff! The giant tentacles that wrapped around the gods and Death's ships were cut off by the war god Phantom and the Death's army. The gods and Death's ships successfully escaped before they were swallowed by the octopus. Screech! The huge octopus roared in pain, and its mountain-like tentacles smashed towards the god's pirate ship and the Death pirate ship. The god's pirate ship and the Death pirate ship sped up and rushed into the deepest part of the stormy sea. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared without a trace. The mountain-like octopus tentacles did not hit their targets. Instead, they hit the surface of the water. Suddenly, huge waves rose into the sky. That huge octopus let out a series of angry and unwilling roars, and then dived into the water, disappearing without a trace. How terrifying! Lin Feng and the others looked at each other. The battle just now was indeed too terrifying. That octopus's strength was probably close to that of a god. It might even have reached the realm of a god. Lin Feng and the others didn't stop and continued to head deeper. They were much more careful because the ferocious beasts in the stormy sea were too powerful. When encountering those ferocious beasts, the slightest bit of carelessness would result in a tragic death. Despite being extremely careful, Lin Feng's group of 5 was still attacked by a group of fiery red swordfish. These swordfish were about a dozen meters long and were densely packed together. It was unknown how many of them there were. On the backs of these swordfish, there were bone spurs. The bone spurs of the swordfish were shaped like swords, and they could be detached from the body, just like the flying swords of cultivators. Swish, 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 the swordfish attacked Lin Feng's group of 5. The bone spurs blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they flew towards Lin Feng's group. It was too terrifying. Lin Feng's group of 5 was terrified. Facing such a dangerous situation, Lin Feng hurriedly took out the 4 vicious cauldron and the 5 of them entered it. Clang, clang, clang. The densely packed bone spurs collided with the cauldron, creating a series of clanging sounds. Although the cauldron was able to block the bone spurs' attack, the impact of so many bone spurs hitting the cauldron was extremely powerful. The impact of the collision shook the cauldron, and Lin Feng's group of 5 who were hiding inside the cauldron felt their blood boil. Their faces flushed red, and they almost coughed up blood. Hua Liar said, "There are too many swordfish. We have to quickly break out of this encirclement. Otherwise, the swordfish's attack will be enough to kill us. Let's use the cauldron to break out of this encirclement," Lin Feng said solemnly. The 5 of them used the cauldron to escape. The school of swordfish chased after them relentlessly, and they only managed to escape after a few dozen miles. Lin Feng's group of 5 rejoiced when they came out of the cauldron. After a short rest, they continued to travel deeper into the ocean. Not long after, a hurricane began to form in the ocean. Hurricanes were the most destructive natural disasters in the ocean. As for the storms and hurricanes, they were even more terrifying because there were powerful restrictions everywhere in the Sea of Storms. The whirlwinds would sweep up these restrictions, so once they were swallowed by the whirlwinds of the storm ocean, it was very likely that they would die. Lin Feng brought the 4 of them to escape when they saw the hurricanes sweeping over. They had to narrowly escape from the hurricanes. After cautiously flying through the ocean for half a month, Lin Feng's group of 5 finally saw the depths of the ocean. Under the cover of the mist, an island could be vaguely seen. Nightmare Island. The eyes of the 5 people suddenly lit up, revealing a joyful expression. It could be said that they had experienced dangers in the stormy ocean. Now that they were finally about to reach their destination, the Nightmare Island, this naturally made them feel excited. The restrictions here are even more terrifying. Everyone, be careful, Lin Feng said solemnly. Sun Yi, Hua Liar, Su Yibing, and Miao Yuling nodded. They also knew that the closer they were to success, the more dangerous it would be. Lin Feng led the way, and the 5 of them carefully moved towards Nightmare Island. When they were about 10 miles away from Nightmare Island, Lin Feng's group of 5 was attacked. Huge bats flew towards them. They were 13 or 14 meters long, and their bodies were blood red. Lin Feng had never seen such huge bats. They were too ugly, and just looking at them made his scalp go numb. Ancient blood bats. They've already disappeared from the outside world. We're in trouble. Su Yibing's expression suddenly changed. More and more ancient blood bats flew over. Soon, more than 100 ancient blood bats had gathered and surrounded Lin Feng's group of 5. The two sides immediately engaged in a fierce battle. The ancient blood bats had sharp claws, and they could use sound attacks and blood-red energy attacks. They were very difficult to deal with. Lin Feng's group of 5 was in big trouble. I have a treasure here that should be able to resist for a while. Miao Yulin took out a crystal bead, which turned into a huge energy shield that enveloped the 5 of them. The primordial vampire bats were temporarily blocked by the energy shield formed by the crystal bead. This is a mysterious crystal bead, a forbidden weapon. Once activated, it can turn into an energy shield for defense. This is the 10th time it's been activated, so it can last for 15 minutes. Miao Yuling said. The forbidden weapon could be used 10 times at most, and the mysterious crystal bead had already been used up. Therefore, Lin Feng had to bring the 4 of them out of the sea within 15 minutes. However, that was enough. Under the protection of the mysterious crystal bead, Sun Yi, Su Yibing, Miao Lingyu, and Hua Lai kept attacking the ancient blood bats. Lin Feng opened his snake eyes and brought the 4 of them to avoid the terrifying restrictive spells floating above the sea. Finally, before the mysterious crystal bead broke, they successfully arrived at Nightmare Island. The ancient blood bats seemed to be unable to enter the island. The ancient blood bats were floating above the sea, looking at Lin Feng's group of 5 with gloomy eyes. They let out ear-piercing screeches, then flapped their wings and flew into the misty sea outside the island. In the blink of an eye, the ancient blood bats could no longer be seen. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.